Alright, hello and good evening folks. Welcome back once again to some F1 Manager 22. Oops, daisy. So it's Tuesday. Which is bizarre because I don't usually stream on a Tuesday because I play football. But football is on hold for the foreseeable future. So hey, let's make the most of our Tuesday free time and get some streams in. Oh, you watched John Wick 4, of course. Wasn't it just? Oh, it was fantastic. I read some more stuff about John Wick 4 today. You can't help but trip over John Wick stuff on Twitter at the moment. It's crazy. Hello, Joe. Hello. Johan, how do you pronounce that? Johan? Silent J? Good evening, sir. How are you? TV show coming out in September? Really? And a spin-off? Oh, they're going to cash in, aren't they? It's a cash cow. Cash cow. Yes, that way. Which way? I pronounced it twice. Two ways. Johan, I'm going to say Johan. Wasn't my character called Johan? Yeah, in Holy Fury, I think it was. Alval, a new face. Good evening to you. It was, wasn't it? Johan Johansson, right? Johan Johansson. I'm trying to remember. I've got a bad memory. I've usually got a good memory for these things. I think it was Johan. Anyway, good evening all. Hello, Ollie. Welcome. Right, so we are here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Hey, this is not a good sign. My voice is cracking already. I've not even started talking. It's going to be a session of mute myself. Dear. The Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. It's a bit of a mouthful. Cancel the stream. Never. Have I ever cancelled a stream due to being unwell? I don't think so. I don't think I've ever. No, as in started it and then not finished it. I'm from Yorkshire. I will soldier on. Come hell or high water. I remember worst I ever felt. I remember being sat. I remember it like it was yesterday. Funnily enough, but when I caught the dreaded C word. Back in March 2020, I was ill, suspected with it, and I was sat in a dressing gown, streaming. What was the game called? That game. I always forget the name of it. The game where we created characters and you all had some people had a character name. El Presidente Rose had a character and we created a story and we were running. It was similar to Prison Architect and Dwarf Fortress. It was set in space. RimWorld, that was the one. I was sat streaming RimWorld and I had the C word, and I felt frightful. And I think it was Catherine who said something in the chat because I was like, I looked ill, I felt ill, and here I am trying to play RimWorld, but I still soldiered on. Anyway, here we are in Mexico, not quite the penultimate, the third last race of the season. I was hoping to do 2 races today, which if that's going to happen, I have to really crack on here because the races take an hour and a half. So yes, we're going to try and do 2 races today, which means that we'll only have one final race to finish off camera stream, and then we can look forward to the new season. And I'm going to do the pre-season as a stream because it'd be cool to see what happens in the pre-season together, because I don't know. I've never done a pre-season, never seen a pre-season in anything that I've watched for this, so it'll be interesting to see it. We can flim-flam during the race. Indeed we can. There'll be some downtime. Hello Crazy Canuck, welcome. I don't know how many people watching, so I'll just crack on and you can filter in as and when you feel like it. So, yes, we have qualified. And we have qualified probably the best qualifying performance-wise that we've ever had in the dry. In the wet, we've qualified on pole in the wet before, but I don't count that as a true pole because the AI suck at strategy in the wet. But in a dry qualifying, we qualified literally just over a tenth of a second away from pole. Yes, we're still in third, but we qualified the closest to the Ferraris we have ever been. Good sign for next season, hey? So Lando finishing there, Daniel finishing in 5th, Perez, home race for Sergio Perez, qualifying in 4th. Verstappen having a bad qualifying. His final run on Q3 was compromised when he spun off the track. But his fastest time up until then was 1:17.5, which wouldn't have been enough to even get him into the top 3. So he seems to be struggling today. We'll see what happens. But given the pace of Lando Norris in qualifying, this bodes well for the race potentially. So let's get to the race, because something interesting may occur involving strategy. Good old Pottery strategies. So Lando Norris, strategy, medium onto hard, simple dimple, usual, boring, one stop, medium onto hard. 75% of the races have the same strategy. With Daniel, alternative strategy, because a 2-stop is possible. A 2-stop is possible. So I don't know what the timings are. So this is an estimated race time of a 1:38.50. Estimated race time 7 seconds quicker. So what we've done in practice is I have kept 2 sets of medium tyres fresh, so that we can use 2 fresh sets of medium tyres. And we're going to tweak this strategy, because we're going to go medium, finish on the hards. So we do as less time as possible on the hards, simply because the hard tyre is a whopping half a second quicker slower than the mediums per lap, and the drop off isn't that different between the two. So I think if we also do that to get a feel for the general pace, oops-a-daisy, we can see actually it always kind of gives you yeah, so the quickest way to do this really is kind of interesting. Conserve a little bit. I don't think we'll do that. That looks pretty cool. So we can afford to push with Daniel on the medium tyres. We can afford to push him. The question that we have, I mean, look at that. It seems to suggest that this is a faster strategy. I personally can't see it, but the reason why I think it's faster is because the mediums are so much quicker than the hards that people that are doing one stop are going to be on a hard tyre for a long time. 71 laps in this race, don't forget. So given that that's the case, being on a faster tyre, even though you've got to do an extra stop, could well work out here. So that's why we're splitting the strategy. I'm beginning to think we should put both of our cars on this strategy, because I do think this will be quicker. The timing says it's going to be quicker. There's plenty of life in these tyres to push them. Okay, what do we reckon, folks? Split the strategy, or should we put them both on this? We can switch the strategy in the middle of the race, let's not forget. But if we're going to switch the strategy, then we need to make sure that we're pushing with Lando and not conserving with his tyres. Put them both on optimal strategy. This is the optimal strategy, technically speaking. According to the timing screens, this was the optimal strategy. Yeah, do you know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. Strategy B, you know what? If this... I'm going to trust my gut on this one, and my gut is saying this is quicker. My gut wasn't quite so confident in Japan when we tried something a bit different, but definitely on this occasion, my gut is saying this is quicker. This is going to be quicker. Estimated race time says this is quicker. We saved 2 sets of medium tyres, especially for this strategy. I think we're gonna I think this could be the ace up our sleeve to pass the Ferraris here. Yeah, let's do it. Both on the same. We can always switch them if things aren't working, although if we are pushing with these drivers to start with, we have to push with them to get the most out of the tyre use here, and to kind of get the gap that we need to make another stop. If people are one-stopping, means that we have to... We can't switch from this to a one-stop, really, because we'll have burnt through the mediums too much. So it's all in or nothing, and I think basically we're going all in here. We've got a fast car today, we've qualified close to pole, this is a faster strategy, we've got to do it, we've got to do it. Okay, this is not a pot of blunder, this is the strategist telling us this is a faster strategy. But it's, you know, people like to play it a bit safer. Well, a bit of one stop, less stops to worry about, less things to go wrong in the pit lane and things. You know, when you're two stopping and other people are one stopping, you can get brought out in traffic, which slows you down and all that kind of stuff. But I think this is going to be the one that gets us a good result. Fingers crossed. Here we go, Mexico. That's where I'm going on holiday in November. Good old Mexico. Not on a cruise. I'm having a cruise in June, and Mexico are having a land holiday. First holiday in a hotel for probably about I don't know, 10 years, possibly. Yeah, 10 years since I had a holiday in a hotel for any longer than like 3 days or something stupid. Right, let's go. Let's get going.
It's sunny and bright as the drivers line up on the grid.
Shut up.
This is it. Here we go with the...
We're on. The lights are on. The Mexico Grand Prix is about to get started. Oh, the lights are off straight away. No messing about today, folks. The lights are off instantaneously as we head down. This is the longest straight to the first corner on the grid. Here we go. It's a very long straight. Very long straight, and now finally we begin to make the first right-hander, 90-degree right, followed by 90-degree left. We're up to second place with Norris, 90-degree right, and then another decently long straight down here, as it looks like Lando Norris is about to try to make a move up the inside of Charles Leclerc here, and he is squeezing round the inside, which puts him round the outside for the sharp left-hander, but he's got his nose in front, he powers out of the corner, and oh, it's not done yet. It's not done yet. Leclerc is trying to fight back, but now he has to slot into second place as Lando Norris takes the lead of the Mexico Grand Prix. He's off to a flying start as we now ride on board with Daniel Ricciardo, who is still stuck behind the Ferraris, and Verstappen has managed to make his way up to 6th position from his position on the grid, which was 8th. So a pretty decent start there. So that's not bad at all. So Norris is going to just switch down now to aggressive, balanced, and neutral.
With this tyre.
Let's see what general pace he has, and we're going to leave Ricciardo on this current setup, whilst we have this long straight to power down. Is he going to get past the Ferraris here? I don't think so. He's not quite. We'll keep him on this for a little bit longer. Let's see if we can get him down this next straight. So the pit straight is the first DRS straight. This is the second DRS straight, but it's a double activation. So the activation point is before the pit straight, the final corner, and then you get 2 doses of it. It's a double DRS situation. Norris has cleared Leclerc already. He's a second ahead already, and he looks like he's turned up today and he's taking no prisoners. Oh, that's what we like to see. Right, we're keeping Daniel. We're going to take him down. Oh, we're not going to take him down. We're going to put him one last time. Overtake mode on this. This is the third DRS straight, but it's a very short one, so it's not really going to make too much of a difference in the race, I don't think. But anyway, we're going to have to now just give Daniel aggressive and neutral with the lift and coast. DRS will be activated soon, so he might be able to use that to get past. But let's have a look at Norris here. He is absolutely got off to a cracking start here, and he's laying a marker down. If we look at the... Well, it's a bit early to look at the tyre wear, but let's have a look at the tyre strategies. Some people on soft tyred runners will clearly be doing 2 stops. The question will be, what is everybody else doing? We don't know. But I'm sure we'll find out when we look at the tyre wear situation after about 10 laps or so. So if they're going to do 1 stop, they should be conserving their tyres a little bit, which will mean that they are much less worn than ours, where we're pushing because we can afford to push on our tyres, of course. Okay. That's a fantastic camera shot. I love that kind of camera shot. With all the F1 cars streaming in behind the camera. Yeah, so DRS is activated. Daniel is struggling to keep up with the Ferraris a little bit, which makes me feel that they're probably 2-stopping as well. So if we did try the 1-stop strategy and everybody else around us is 2-stopping, then that would have been a mistake. So I'm glad we went with both cars on this one. Lando is absolutely streaking out there. He is absolutely streaking away. How's good old Max doing? Not making any inroads. The DRS is not... Already Russell is 2 seconds behind Verstappen here. And Hamilton is down in 9th position. It's not very good at all, is it? Vettel in the Aston up to P12 is... Aston Martin's looking pretty spiffing quick here. Are they going to pull a real life and end up at the front of the grid next season? What's going on? No idea. Right, there we go. Lando Norris, 1.7 ahead of Charles Leclerc. We will actually give him a stint during this first stint of not pushing quite so hard. We can't push him for the entire stint, so we will have to dial him down a little bit, which we will do soon enough, but I think another 2 or 3 laps of pushing and then dial it down and then have him push again towards the first pit stop will be the order of business. But is it just me, or are these Ferraris holding everybody up right now? Look at the train of cars behind the Ferraris here. We're gonna... Oh. Quite tempted to turn Ricciardo down from his... pushing, because clearly it's not actually helping him to get past and he's just burning through his tyres. So we'll turn him down, preserve his tyres, and maybe if he gets a gap or gets past them by some minor miracle, we can then get him to push again. Maybe they might trip over each other and knock each other off, who knows. Stranger things have happened. Right, so it's pretty much as you were, as though I'm seeing a bit of battling here between Bottas and Russell. Looks like the Alfa Romeo of Bottas is looking pretty quick today. He's up to P7, ahead of both the Mercedes, with the second pretty much in tow as well. So yeah, the Alfa Romeo's looking pretty racy on this circuit here. Don't forget, as I said at the end of the last session, the air, they're very quite high above the sea level here. The air is thinner on this circuit, which affects engine performance. It was always one of Mercedes, like the tracks where when Mercedes were quite dominant, that Red Bull had a chance, because the engine advantage that Mercedes had was negated because of the thinness of the air here, and the aerodynamic advantage that the Red Bull had paid dividends. But Lando Norris, as we can see, is comfortably just... Look at these Ferraris squabbling away, holding everything up here. It's like being stuck behind a tractor on a country road. Bloody go away, man! Got places to go, people to see. I'm going to dial down Lando now. And we're going to keep these guys like this now for a few laps. Well, they're going to be coming in, what, round about lap 25, 26 for their first stops? I don't see the point in extending their stops for too long and losing performance, but let's have a look at the tyre situation for our opponents. 90%? Is that conservation and one stopping, or is it just that we've pushed quite hard on our tyres because we can afford to? Not sure. It's too early to call yet. Too early to call. As the Ferraris of Sainz and Leclerc are still squabbling against each other, and why wouldn't they? With 3 races to go, the championship is still alive for both of them. Sainz, it's looking less likely, but it's not impossible. All it needs is Leclerc to DNF and Sainz to win the race, and it's game on for the last 2 races of the season. So yeah, bit of a procession at the moment. Bit of a procession. Not enough of a procession for us to have to go too quickly here, but through the situation. Let's look at the relative lap times there. So Norris at 122.7, 0.2 of a second, or just shy of 0.2 of a second faster than the Ferraris at this moment in time. So things are looking pretty good in terms of race pace. Let's ride on board with these Ferraris, because this is where the action is, although Perez is really giving Daniel a bit of a hard time here, but I think it's because Daniel is held up by the Ferraris more than anything else. That's the issue we've got. It's actually the Ferraris that are causing this traffic jam. Hello Chris, welcome. Indeed it is, bit of F1 today. So Leclerc is now closing the gap to Norris now that Norris isn't pushing, so it makes me think that the Ferraris are on a 2-stop here. If they were on a 1-stop, I think they wouldn't be going quite so quickly. This could be part of this. We need to push Norris. I don't think we can afford to let the Ferraris get into our DRS. We can't afford to let that happen. So we've got to give them a bit more. Hurry up a bit, Lando. Just put your foot down a bit, if you don't mind. I don't want those Ferraris getting dragged along with you. So you put your foot down, Sonny Jim. Look at the state of this. Nobody can get past anything. Nobody can make it past. Could be a long race if we end up following the Ferraris for the entirety of it. But anyway, so I was doing something. So off camera, I set everything up for the race clearly, but I also did some stuff for the development of the team. I give Lando 2 development points because I forgot to allocate those out. So he's got 2 new development points put into smoothness and defending as per the random number generator gods, and that actually increased his overall rating to 86 from 85, which was pretty good. And we actually have started to upgrade 5 of our buildings because they increased the team's attractiveness. All the buildings that I increased or upgraded were ones that increased the team's attractiveness, and I wanted to do that because when we start the new season, we will get to negotiate sponsorship deals. So clearly, if we're a more attractive team, we might get better sponsors. So I thought we'd invest in some more attractive buildings. Let's see if that pans out. We are pushing the tyres hard, Chris, and that is because we have quite a lot of leeway with the tyres. We are 2-stopping today, as per the tactical gods on our team that have said the 2-stop strategy is the quicker strategy by 7 seconds rather than the 1-stop. So we can afford to push the tyres quite hard because we've got, as you can see here, this line is the 30% line, which is the cliff effectively. We've got plenty of room there to manoeuvre. And we need to keep out of the DRS of the Ferraris, who are looking quite quick now at this point in the race, but not quick enough to break the DRS of the cars behind. Anyway, good evening, Tapeworm London. That's 2 new faces I've seen today. It's always good to see new faces. Welcome, welcome, welcome. The only reason why I'm not pushing Ricciardo is because pushing him is not going to help him get past the Ferraris because of the DRS situation, so there's no point in him burning his tyres. Although, even though we're not burning his tyres and Lando is pushing on his, it's not making much of a difference. The tyre wear is still pretty consistent between the two of them, which is interesting. So look at the tyre situation for the rest of the grid. Yep, they're definitely one stopping two. I mean two stopping two. They're definitely two stopping as well. Damn it! I thought we were getting one up on the AI today. I thought they were all going to one stop because it was the strategy A. So I thought most of the cars would go for strategy A. But clearly they're going for the quicker strategy, which was strategy B, which was to do two stops. Go figure. Why would they do such a thing? Why would they pick the fastest strategy and not give us a chance? Oh, God. These Ferraris are still battling as now Charles Leclerc is looking to go up the inside of his teammate into the first corner. He does make it up the inside, but is he going to make it stick is the question. And the answer to it is yes, it looks like he just about is. Because it's a double DRS, he gets DRS down this straight even though he was already ahead after the corner, which basically allows him to cement his overtake manoeuvre, and it puts him back up into P2. It probably won't last very long in P2 because it'll be role reversal the next lap. This probably is the longest that we have had the first three teams all in a line. So we've got obviously the Ferrari, who are the quickest team. We've got the Red Bulls, maybe still slightly the second quickest team at the moment. Us just slightly behind the third quickest team. So yeah, we're all cars together. I mean, Lando isn't exactly streaking off into the distance. He's just about staying out of the DRS range of the Ferraris.
Just be careful with this tyre.
But he's not like thundering off. And then obviously the Ferraris have got Daniel behind them, and then the two Red Bulls. So it is very much, top three teams all fighting for position together. And if next season we can have something similar to this happen, as now Sainz gets past and we'll get a dose of DRS down the straight to do exactly the same that Leclerc did to him in the last lap. If we can get close racing between the top three teams regularly like this next season, that would be pretty cool. That would be pretty cool. Take us back to the days of 20. I'm trying to think of the year it was. Was it 2010, 2011? What happened? Safety car. What happened? Oh, Bottas and Hamilton are out of the race here. What's happened?
Take a look at the replay.
What's happened, Crofty?
Now watch this. Lewis Hamilton involved in this.
Lewis Hamilton. Oh, it looks like he's going to get lock a break up. Oh my God!
That's the contact.
Calamity!
Oh, there's chaos on the track.
Chaos! To quote Crofty there, absolute chaos caused by Guan Yu Zhou. He's wiped out Hamilton, who's wiped out Bottas. Obviously had no choice in the matter. And we've got a safety car situation here. Too early to do anything about the stops, but certainly can use it as an opportunity to conserve tyres, harvest the ERS. Bottas, let's watch it again. Quite a horrific accident here. Smashes into the back of Lewis, who wipes out Bottas. And look at that. Ooh, horrible accident. Horrible indeed. So much for Lando's gap. Indeed, but off the safety car restart, we can get the drop on the opposition. And let's not forget that DRS isn't activated until 2-3 laps after the safety car. So Daniel could have a chance of getting past the Ferraris here if he's on his toes. Guan Yu Zhou pitting because he's lost the front wing, of course. He's going to have to suffer a 5-second grid penalty, a 5-second time penalty, maybe even a 10-second. Let's see if the penalty is served here. So basically, they should wait 5 seconds before touching his car. Yep, there you go. They're not working on his car. He's serving his penalty. And Looked like it was 5 seconds now. So a 5-second time penalty for Guan Yu there. They're putting the wing on. Clearly there's no animation for putting a wing on in this game. The wing will just magically appear. There you go, it goes on. And off he goes. Right, okay, so safety car. Let's go 16 speed here. Safety car should be in probably after the next lap. He was penalised for wiping out bloody Hamilton.
Safety car in this lap. Safety car will be in this lap.
Is it possible to switch to SOS for the remainder of the stint? No, because that would mean that we would still probably have to do another... A, we would lose track position for a start. And B, yeah, that would just totally not be the thing to do at all. Nobody pitted during that safety car period. It's kind of one of those safety car periods that's too close to the start of the race, or too far away from your stop to really make it count in terms of changing tyres or anything. But we're going to go straight to aggressive, straight to push, straight to deploy here. Get the tyres nice and warm. Get yourselves ready. Get yourselves ready. So we're going to ride on board with Daniel here, because Daniel's got prime position. He can see Lando from here. We can see the Ferraris from here. As the safety car peels in, Lando Norris is now the safety car. And oh, we were off and racing straight away. The safety car, I mean, he was very close to the safety car before it went in. Not giving himself... Oh, we're getting overtaken by Perez. This is a complete tragedy. This is a complete travesty. We've lost a position. Temporarily. We might get it back. We better get it back. Come on, Daniel, what are you bloody well doing? Caught napping. And Sainz, okay, no, Norris is still making it. Norris is still pulling away quite nicely there. It's Daniel who's got the issue, and this is not good. Clearly this is not healthy. Down to P5 with Max Verstappen behind him now, but the hometown hero here, Sergio Perez, has moved up a position, which will be interesting to see how he copes with the Ferraris. And once again, Lando Norris is beginning to eke out that 1+ second gap to break the DRS when it's activated. Seems like he's toying with his opponents. He's doing just enough to get those gaps when he needs them. But I'll turn it down now to aggressive. I think we've done enough. We've seen enough of this. We're still going to push the engines a little bit, though, for a little bit longer. We've got a bit of excess fuel there. Right, let's have a look. Off camera. Fastest lap of the race for Lando Norris there. 1.6 seconds the gap. He once again. This is almost akin to his race in Singapore, where he was in full control. When the safety cars came out, he managed to get off nice and quick and maintain the gap, and he managed the gap very well. He did he was always in control of the race, always had the race pace available to him should he need to unleash it, was constantly the quickest man on the track. And this seems to be quite a similar situation here, which we are really happy to see. But yeah, 1.8 seconds ahead now, and Daniel is stuck now in the train again. Only this time he's one carriage further back, which is rather frustrating. And given that we're probably not we're going to end up in the same position that we ended up in last time, we're going to have to go into a bit more neutrality with him, unfortunately. What's my opinion of Daniel in the real world? I don't dislike the man. I think in his peak he was a pretty quick driver, but I just think he got a little bit unlucky with his team choices, because with Max in the team, I think Max was getting favouritism from the Red Bull team when Daniel was with Red Bull, for example, and then he went to Renault when they weren't very good. At the time, he was hoping to do a Hamilton and hope that Renault would become the superpower of F1, and that never transpired. Then he went to McLaren and they went backwards a little bit. So it was like, see you later, Ollie. It wasn't really, yeah. Oh no! We saw it live! I don't believe it! We've been wiped out! Oh my gosh! Max Verstappen, in an act of sabotage,
And it's more than one car.
has wiped us
You can
out!
take a look now. Now look at this. Daniel Ricciardo involved here.
Daniel Ricciardo has just been... Look at... Oh,
You can clearly see the
Oh.
contact there, and that caused a lot of damage.
absolutely disgusting.
And that was a bitter blow for the team.
Oh,
And it
yeah, bitter blow indeed. He's out of the race. He is out of the race. Terminal gearbox damage. So he's got one gearbox less to have to use. We've got to replace all of his parts, his chassis, his wings, and all whatever else has happened to him. Oh, and of course we get 0 points. Massive tragedy. Another safety car. Another safety car.
Watch out.
Right. Lap 17. We're not a million miles away from our pit window here. We could put another set of mediums on now. And then, because we can go onto the hard tyre far sooner. This is slightly more interesting than the last pit strategy. We could come onto a set of fresh mediums now. We would have to then come onto the hards a bit earlier, but the hards clearly have got a lot of life in them. Yes, we will be in traffic. I think we're going to be in too much traffic because of the fact that we're so close to the last safety car that all the cars are quite closely bunched. So we're going to come out after 25-second pit stop. We're probably going to come out, yeah, at the back of the pack, which is horrendously bad. No, we can't pit now. We can't pit now. There's just no way we can pit now.
Understood.
Oh, I don't bloody I do believe it. It always happens to Daniel bloody Ricciardo, doesn't it? It's always him involved in carnage, isn't it? I mean, that wasn't his fault. Max is still on the track. He's probably minus a wing or half a wing. His race is compromised. He should, and he's got. Like I say, and he should have a penalty. Clearly, he is penalised. He's got a penalty. He's getting a time penalty. Oh Lord. Right, safety car time again. ERS fully charged again. This is helping the soft tyre runners a little bit.
So the safety car is in this lap. The safety car is in this lap.
Safety car in, safety car in. Back the pack up a bit better than you did last time, Lando. It was a bit too close for comfort. Okay, let's go.
100%.
Go,
pace
go, go,
now.
go, go. Deploy, deploy, deploy. Push, push, push. Push, push, push. Go, 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 go. Do not let those bloody Ferraris pass. Whatever you do, do not pull a Daniel on us.
Yeah, confirm.
We're green. The light is green. The long, long straight here. Defend. I should have probably put it on defend from the first corner so that we deployed a bit more ERS on the straight itself, but it looks like we're going to be okay here. Into the first corner. Yes, we're still fine. Back to deploy. Still keep pushing. And we're going to keep pushing for quite some time now. We've got quite a bit of fuel spare. The tyre life obviously has been extended because of the safety cars, so we can afford to push these tyres now as hard as possible. Let's get a bigger gap as possible to the cars behind us and get ourselves into our first pit stop. That is going to be what we need to do here. Time penalty. Yeah. It should be quite a significant. To be fair, he ain't going anywhere fast, is he? Although technically speaking, he's been allowed to pit for a new. Oh, he hasn't pit for a new wing. He hasn't even put a new wing on. He served a time penalty because he's no longer got the penalty marker. So he's been in the pit. He served a time penalty, but they didn't change the wing. Maybe they didn't have enough. Maybe they've not got enough wings. Hamilton, I bet, got a penalty for wiping out Bottas. I bet that's an AI glitch. Because the game is probably counting it that Hamilton took Bottas out, although technically speaking, he had no choice in the matter. Right, Sainz is pitting now, which definitely is a two-stop, which is what we thought was going to happen. The tyre wear of our opponents was indicative of the fact that they were going to two-stop. Leclerc is already 2 seconds behind Lando, who is absolutely pushing like a maniac, to the point where we've completely overlooked the fact that his ERS is in deploy mode at the moment. Hopefully we won't need to defend with it in the future, as Lando is going to try to see if he can go for fastest lap this lap, maybe, who knows. Another driver has locked up here. Sector 1, we've got an incident. This is an incident-packed race, and it's Stroll. Stroll has come a cropper here. Another safety car? It can't be. It can't be a third safety flipping car, can it? No, he's gone off. No, he's just gone off the track. It looks like people are not coping very well with that particular corner today.
It's going to be a big blow to the team.
Right, so whilst we're speeding away from the Ferrari of Leclerc, I did some thinking whilst I was doing my preparations, because I've been talking about bringing Leclerc to the team next season, so to have Norris and Leclerc. But Leclerc is, I think, a slightly better driver than Norris in the game, I think, in terms of his overall stats. And I really want Lando Norris. If we're going to have a championship-winning car, I would like Norris to be the world champion. So I'm thinking we're probably going to keep the same driver lineup, because obviously Ricciardo is not as good as Norris. So that if we do have a championship-winning car, you know, Norris will more likely be the champion, you see. So I think we're going to leave Leclerc where he is, and we'll have Norris be our lead driver for next season. Keep Calamity Rick. Yeah, keep it. Why not? Not to mention the fact that it would cost us probably about 30 million to get Leclerc, to break his contract and to offer him a salary, maybe even more. We could look for an alternative number 2 driver. Somebody like a Bottas, for example, who's actually quite quick, but not too quick. We could pull a complete and utter Ferrari in the Schumacher days time, and clearly make Ricciardo the number 2 driver. Get out of the way! When Norris is coming behind you, pull aside. Okay, so people begin to pit. We're obviously clearly pushing as hard as we possibly can, because we've got plenty of tyre life to do so, and it makes no sense not to do this right now. We're going to turn down the engine pushing now for that, because we want a bit of engine pushing available for later stints, just in case we need to do some pushing for whatever reason. But given our pace at the moment, 3.5 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc, we are, and Norris is, he's just doing it nicely, isn't he? He's just doing it nicely. Just going to turn it down to aggressive so the tyres don't overheat too much.
Just be careful with this tyre.
Perez just outside the second of Leclerc. Russell clinging onto the back of Perez quite well. Let's just take a look at this, shall we? Albon in a Williams is in P6. Yeah, such is the calamity of this race. We've got a Williams in P6. We've got a Haas in P5. I mean, even the driver that is Latifi, God bless him, is in 11th. I mean, obviously people have pitted, of course, but you know, these dizzy heights for these drivers. So looks like these drivers are doing sort of medium hard medium, whereas we're doing medium hard. I don't think it makes a massive difference which way you do it, but we will be on the faster tyre if all the people around us go onto the hards. So that'll be quite cool, because that means we'll pull out an even bigger gap. on them in preparation for our final stint on the hards, which we will try to extend our medium tyre stints for as long as possible, because we want to make sure that we don't be on those hard tyres for too long. If we extend our medium stints long enough, we might even be able to get away with sticking a set of soft tyres on for our final stint, which will clearly be quicker than any tyre that the AI will be on at that time, so that would be quite cool. So there's interesting strategies going on here, but it will play out eventually. It is definitely a mix-up. It is definitely a mix-up. In a good way, of course. It's nice to see some fresh, different drivers up here. Hello, Catherine. Puppy keeping your hands full. Good to hear you settling down a bit. Okay, so who's left to pit? Pretty much everybody that's behind us at the moment. I mean, they've got quite a significant difference in tyre life at the moment. I wonder if they are actually one-stopping these guys now. I wonder if they've changed their strategy based on the safety cars coming out. I don't know if the AI is capable of changing strategy mid-race. Maybe they are. But they've got a significant more or less worn medium than we do, which makes me feel like that they are perhaps switching to a one-stop. Because we're bang on for our strategy right now. And because of our tyre wear, they will probably start to close this gap down, because we're suffering a little bit now with tyre degradation in comparison to these guys. So Leclerc is indeed closing that gap, which makes me think we should probably come in sooner rather than later for our stop. How many laps does the soft tyre go for? 32, but that's not 32 fast laps, is it? That's 32 dithery laps, I'm sure. Right, I kind of think if we extend both our stints by like 2 laps each, that means we will only have 16 laps to do at the end, which I think we could do on a set of softs, and do medium, medium, soft. Keep extending. Yeah, I think so. I think so. If we're going to extend, we have to stop pushing, though. So we'll stop pushing there. We'll start pushing there. I think we extend. I think we extend and go on to softs for our final stint. This really is a strategy conundrum here. I like these kind of races. And this is the thing in F1, and it's true to real life as well, is that races that have 2 stops in them rather than your usual one-stop affair usually end up more exciting, because there's more things you can do with a 2-stop strategy, and especially where safety cars come out and stuff like that. Two-stop races tend to be more lively. So we're going to extend as long as we can without losing too much pace. Yeah, exactly, more variables. Indeed, indeed. 2.4. I feel like we should probably go a bit quicker in the 2-speed here, but I'm probably not going to get 2 races done today. So we'll just do the 1. And enjoy it, because I feel like we'll be doing this race an injustice to go too quick through it, because there's so much things that could happen, so many strategy things to play out. We've got cars out of position. We've got to see it. Verstappen is doing pretty well. Well, he's not really, with half a wing. He's 5 seconds behind the Ferrari of Sainz, so perhaps not doing quite so well. But he's ahead of Alonso and all these other people, so I don't know, maybe he's dragging that car around very well. Who knows? The gap down to 2.1, which is fine. this is another situation where we're not overly concerned with track position. We're more concerned with overall race pace right now and strategy. So Lando is being told just to manage his pace. You know, they're given deltas in real life. You know, they'll give him a time to stick within, because that's the precise time that you need to do to make these tyres last, etc., etc. All very technical. You need to be doing 1:18.4s, Lando. That's the precise time you need to do, please. Yeah, not a problem. 1:18.45. Is that all right? So we're utilising our engine pushing to offset against our tyre degradation here, which I think is a good option to have. And we continue to extend our stint as we now start lap 28. So we'll keep a look on Russell here, because Russell is a... Oh no, we won't, because Perez is now pitting. So and as is Russell as well. Let's have a look at this little pit stop battle we've got going on. Perez should come out ahead of Russell in the pits, but you never know. There could be a pit blunder. I don't think I've ever seen a pit blunder in this game. Oh, he's had to hold. He has leaped him. He's leapfrogged him in the pits because their team had to hold because he'd already set off. I don't think I've seen a pit blunder. Motorsport Manager, we had pit stop blunders left, right and centre, if you remember. I've not seen a single pit stop blunder in this game. Maybe it's just me. Anyway, Carlos Sainz is powering past somebody. Past Joe. Right, look at the gap is coming down now. I think now is the time to pit. I'm quite surprised that Leclerc hasn't pit. Well, he's preserving his tyres, clearly. I think now is the time to pit. Let's have a look at the little mappy thing. Yeah, I think we pit now, and we don't push the next medium tyre so hard. The medium tyre that we put on now will be quicker than Leclerc's mediums, because Leclerc's medium's hard, is warm. So this will give us a nice, decent undercut situation. Not an undercut situation. It'll give us a pace advantage now, but clearly he'll get a pace advantage later on in the race. I think we need to pit now. We pit now. A second fresh set of mediums that we've saved for the job. Pit this lap. And we take these mediums as far as they can go, and hopefully put a set of softs on at the back end, and hopefully have a super fast tyre to win the race with. Let's hope anyway. So here comes Lando Norris into the... Oh, Leclerc's pitting at the same time! Let's hope we don't do a flipping Russell here and end up holding for the Ferrari, which shouldn't happen because the Ferrari's behind us, so we get out first. There you go. So Norris and Leclerc pitting at the same time, so this is very interesting indeed. Leclerc's probably put on a set of hard tyres. Yes, he has. So we're on a set of mediums, he's on a set of hards, so we'll have the pace. As I said at the start of the race, our medium tyre is half a second per lap quicker than the hard tyre, so we don't have to push this tyre hard at all to actually start to pull away from Leclerc here.
Big lifts.
And don't forget, Leclerc may well come back in and put a set of mediums on for his final stint. We shall see. Whereas we will be putting on a set of softs, unless the AI are clever enough to do the same. And this will, if we do put on a set of softs, this will be the only time this season, and a rare occurrence, that we have used every compound in the race. Medium, soft and hard. Not very often that happens. So Lando Norris will now start to pull away on that medium tyre, and I do feel actually at this point that it's not a bad time to probably two-speed it, simply because we're going to start to pull away. Sainz is looking pretty quick. He's on hard tyres that clearly are a bit warmer, a bit more in the groove here. Leclerc's will get up to temperature very soon, mind you. But they'll start squabbling with each other, as they did in the opening laps of the race, and that should hopefully help us to continue to pull away. Yeah, look at that. 0.6 of a second quicker than Leclerc on our softer compound tyre. And as I said, the degradation between the two isn't that different. It's 0.02 of a second per lap. So we've got many laps on this quicker tyre to pull that gap out nicely. So we're quite happy with what we're seeing here. This is where the battle is going to be for this particular stint. And we've also got Russell battling with Joe here. We've got Perez who's harassing Russell, and Verstappen plodding along with half a wing. This is where most of the action is. Unless you count this, to be fair, is the championship battle between Sainz and Leclerc. Leclerc clearly winning that battle right now on the track and in the title race itself. Sainz does need Leclerc to DNF to have a chance. But it looks like Sainz is the quicker car right now. He does, of course, have the advantage of DRS. Let's have a look at that DRS activation down the straight on board. So here we go. He should make this move stick quite nicely, but Leclerc has just squeezed him a little bit to the outside, but there is a gap down the inside here to take if he wants to outbrake. He doesn't want to risk it. He's been conservative. He will get a second dose of DRS down this straight. Here we go. He's drinking left, he's drinking right. He's got the pace down this straight, but he's not looking like he's interested in making a manoeuvre. No. Quite interesting there. There we got Perez and Joe. Russell is ahead. I think was Russell always ahead of Joe or not? I can't remember. But Perez needs to make a move past these two cars. He's clearly got the quicker car. Alonso is passing Verstappen here. He's passing the half a wing Verstappen, which clearly is to be expected. It's like, fighting a man who's got one hand tied behind his back and is drunk. Clearly it's going to be a one-sided affair as we ride on board. And now off board as Alonso passes Verstappen. And that should be a done deal. We've also got Pierre Gasly in the AlphaTauri coming up to the back of the sister car, if you will, the sister team. We'll watch this live. It's always nice to see Verstappen get overtaken every now and then, isn't it? Indeed it is. As Norris is 3.4 seconds ahead of Leclerc. Sainz is less than a tenth behind, but still can't get past into that first corner. Right, I don't think this is going to work because Verstappen doesn't have DRS on Alonso. There you go. Uh-oh, who's locked up now? Who's locked up now? Who's caused the scene now? We've got yellow flags in sector 1. Who is it?
There's contact. It's
oh, hang on. We've had contact. We've had contact. It's the Ferraris. The Ferraris have contacted with each other here. Oh dear. Oh my gosh, calamity has struck the Ferraris. It was only a matter of time before it happened. It was only a matter of time. Mario Binotto must be going absolutely berserk here. Who's come off worst? Leclerc. Was it Sainz who caused that incident? It may well have been. Oh dear. The Ferraris tangling with each other. Let's have a look at Leclerc's car. Has he got damage? I don't think so. Carlos Sainz. Surely Carlos Sainz wasn't maliciously trying to wipe Leclerc out of the race. I did say that Leclerc had to DNF, right, didn't I? I didn't think he'd take it seriously. Perpetrator crash him off. Oops-a-daisy, sorry about that. Leclerc's in the pit. He has got damage. This is really bad news for his championship. And Sainz has not even got a penalty.
Leclerc has pitted.
Oh dear. This is bad news for his title. I mean, Sainz has to win the race ideally. But oh my God, there's going to be a debrief and a half about that. Leclerc all the way to the back of the grid, pretty much. Look at the wall of cars ahead of him. Him getting through this pack of cars is going to be torturous, and I bet he's absolutely seething in that cockpit right now. absolutely seething. But that's given Russell a promotion up to 3rd position. Podium placings for a Mercedes here, a rarity this season. Hamilton, don't forget, won in Monza. Perez, though, is now behind Russell and looking pretty quick, so I don't expect Russell to keep 3rd place for long. Let's ride on board with Perez here. Whilst our driver is out in front, we'll not watch him. We don't want to see what he's doing, just in case we curse him. We'll watch everybody else. So look how close the 2 Haas's are. Don't do the same thing as the Ferrari, Sonny Jim. Oof, side by side there. Right, so Perez, DRS, possibly open, can't quite see. Was it open? Yes, it was. There you go. Coming up to the first corner. He's going to get a second dose of it down past this little left-right, or right-left-right complex. Here we go. DRS activation again, coming down. Full speed ahead. Russell is probably going to be... Oh, he's not pulling out. He's not pulling out. He's not pulling out at all there. He could have probably pulled out and had a lunge if he wanted to, but he's maybe waiting for a better spot. Maybe waiting for the pit straight, which will be an easier task, I suppose. Let's continue to ride on board with Perez for the time being. Yeah, Verstappen has slipped away from Gasly, so he's clearly been compromised by his wing damage, but they can't replace it. I reckon they don't have another wing replacement, which would be really bizarre if they don't. DRS down this straight, but it's not a big enough straight, which makes me think why bother having DRS there in the first place, but hey. We're coming into the stadium complex now. Final few corners of this lap. A rather awkward right-hander. And power on early, power on hard, DRS open, ERS activation too if you've got it. And this should be a done deal now surely, as Sergio Perez jinks out to the left. He's going to take Russell probably before he even gets to the corner, is he? Yeah, he's pretty much ahead before the corner. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Sergio Perez, the hometown hero, is up into 3rd position, a podium finish. I can imagine the crowd going wild there as Perez streaks down past Russell. Oh, what's he doing there? Bit of a jink. Vettel, look at this. Look at this gaggle of cars. Madness, I say. Madness. Leclerc stuck in the middle of it all. He's got fresh tyres though, so this should maybe make life a little bit easier. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. If his title could be on the line. Every point matters. You need to start making a move, my friend. Up the inside of Ocon. He makes a move. Oh no, Ocon's fighting back. Ocon has the inside line for this next corner. But, oh, he's still there. Still there. Leclerc's going to have to get his elbows out here. And there you go. He makes it stick. Coming down into another DRS zone. Very shortly. Right. Left. DRS open for all cars, which makes it more difficult, of course, for Leclerc to get past himself. But that Ferrari engine in the back of that car should help as well as we once again enter that stadium section. Let's see how he fares down the pit straight. Will he make up a position or two? Let's find out very shortly as the power is down, the wing is open. Not really. Not really. He's not making too much of an inroad here, is he? It's going to be a long day from here for Mr. Leclerc. But yes, every point matters. So even if he finishes 10th and gets 1 point out of it, that could be the point that gets him the title. He can't afford to be too disheartened here. He needs to just focus on the task at hand. And the task is at this point Operation Recovery. As many points as you possibly can from this part of the race onwards. That's got to be the order of business. It can be nothing else. Right, other than that, we've got Gasly, who's half a second behind Alonso, which isn't... he's not going to pass Alonso, I don't think. I think Alonso's a little bit quicker, to be fair. I think Gasly's just hanging on to the coattails a little bit there. Russell, similarly, is hanging on to the coattails of Perez, but clearly not fast enough to pass him. And we've got Norris out in front, conserving his tyres very well indeed. I mean, these tyres could almost make it to the end. If we actually went into conservation mode, or light on the tyres, for example, right now, we could probably get these mediums to the end. The only issue is, of course, we can't do that because we need to use 2 tyre compounds, and we've used mediums already, so we have to stop again. But yeah, we could probably eat these to the end if we really, really had to. But that makes it obviously clear to me that we can definitely make a set of soft tyres round about maybe lap sort of 57-ish, 56, 57. Probably make those hard tyres get to the end quite happily at that point. The soft tyres, sorry. Yeah. Looking pretty good is our Lando, isn't he? Looking pretty spiffing marvellous. Although he's not got the fastest lap. Carlos Sainz on a set of hard tyres has got the fastest lap right now, which is very disappointing. But when we put our soft tyres on, we should be major quick. So we'll put our soft tyres on, give Lando a full push order, and see if we can take the full 26 points with him. We hope so, anyway. How's Leclerc doing? Still bogged down. Never mind, sir. Never mind. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to go 2-speed. We have hit a slight lull, I suppose. I mean, we do have a bit of action here, but in terms of our race, we're quite clearly comfortable. And we can still see what's happening with the other cars on 2-speed. It's not like I'm putting it on 16-speed. But Leclerc is trying well, he's not really trying every trick in the book to pass, is he? He's if he wanted to be more forceful, I'm sure he could be, but I suppose championship in mind, doesn't want to completely wipe himself out. But at this point, I mean, you're not getting any points anyway, you might as well go for it if you ask me. But hey, Russell is actually doing a very good job of keeping up with Perez. He's now looking like he's a slight bit quicker than the Red Bull. Let's look at the tyre situation to get an understanding of what's happening, both on the hard tyres. So can't understand why, unless Perez is conserving his tyres to get to the end a little bit, maybe. But it's looking like Russell is doing a good job of clinging on to Perez there. But we'll follow this little train. This is where the action of the race currently is. And we'll just make sure that we keep an eye on Norris a little bit. Don't want to neglect him totally, but he's got matters under control. He's making our life very easy on the pit wall today. Just keep. How am I doing? Yeah, keep the same pace, mate. Same pace. You've got it covered. You've got this hook, line, and sinker. Just don't crash. Commentator's curse. What am I doing? Why did I say that? You idiot! Keep your mouth shut. That kind of reminded me a little bit of, not that I want to bring up old wounds really, but Abu Dhabi 2021 when Christian Horner was on the pit wall and the Crofty went across to him when we had like 10 laps of the race to go, and he said, and I can't remember, he asked him a question or whatever, and you could hear the downbeat tone of Christian Horner's voice as Hamilton was like 15 seconds ahead and clearly in control of the race, and he was basically like, we need a miracle from the racing gods, were his words. And look what happened. I'm like, oh God. Ask and you shall flipping receive, pal. Anyway. '13th for Leclerc, still not getting past this train of cars. Norris almost has a 10-second gap on Sainz right now. The relative pace of the tyres, let's take a look at it. In fact, because we're conserving quite nicely, or not pushing, our tyres are fresher than the hard tyres. So lap times, let's have a look. We're lapping, a healthy 6/10 of a lap quicker per lap at the moment over Carlos Sainz. So this is a very comfortable position. And look, now we have Verstappen, half a wing Verstappen. Sure there's a nickname there somewhere. Can somebody come up with a catchy... Oh, he's gone now, unfortunately. But somebody can come up with a nickname for that, surely. Some kind of a snazzy nickname for Mr. One Wing Verstappen, or half a wing Verstappen. Who's clearly... Yeah, look at the pace differential. Clearly is really hampered with this damage. Creating carnage here as cars streak past him. Yeah. I can't stand Horner. That's the right answer, Catherine. I mean, I don't know. Hand on heart, even Red Bull fans, I can't think of many people that actually openly say they like him. And even from Red Bull's own fans on Twitter that I've seen aren't overly keen on the man. I just think he's a horrible, odious. I just can't stand him. I really can't. And even the team boss or whatever he's called or whoever he is, Dr. Heimlich, the Heimlich maneuver, what's he called? I forgot his name. Maybe his wife. I don't like her either. Ginger Spice. I was never a big fan of hers, to be fair. Oh, Johannes. Another Johannes. Oh, Johannes rather than a Johan. What's the carnage? What carnage has happened here? Lots of carnage. We've had Hamilton wiped out by Joe, was it? Grand New Joe wiped out Hamilton, who skittled into Bottas, bringing out a safety car. Then we had another crash with Daniel Ricciardo being wiped out by Verstappen, bringing out a second safety car. Verstappen has now got half a wing because they haven't replaced it. Norris is leading the race by 11.5 seconds because he's in an absolute groove right now. And Russell and Perez are battling for for the final podium position. But other than that, you've not missed a great deal. And welcome. Helmut Marko. Is it Helmut Marko? Helmut Marko. That's the fella. Couldn't remember his name. Dr. Helmut Marko. I can't stand him either. So obviously, when you have a team boss and an owner that are both horrible people that can't help but criticise everybody around them, you're gonna be a spoilt brat, aren't you? To be fair to Verstappen, because he can get away with that kind of things. Because no matter what he does, Horner thinks the sun shines out of his arse. Hello, everyone. Hello, Horler. Doody doody doo, doobie doobie doo. So I was reading, Cham might be able to tell me more, or any other F1 fans, but I don't follow, it's difficult to follow F1 massively closely when your team sucks at the moment, but I still do check in and watch the races cleared, and I do check in occasionally on Twitter, but I think the Mercedes team are changing their concept mid-season, I think. I'm sure I read that today, and they're looking to bring major upgrades, which might include side pods, for Imola. Potentially, and he estimated that they were about 6 to 12 months behind the development cycle of Red Bull right now, given that they're changing concept. So that's going to be a very long season again, unfortunately. Sainz is pitting again for his final stop here. He's going to be putting on a set of medium tyres, you would imagine, so he will now be quicker than us, but clearly a long way behind us and behind other people too. So that's not anything for us to be concerned about, because all we need to be concerned about is maintaining our race pace, maintaining our delta, keeping our tyres in the best shape possible so that we can put on a set of softs at the end. So happy days so far still for Norris. I know, it was such a good stream yesterday. It's probably the most fun I've had in a stream for quite a while, I must admit. It was really good. Oh, we've got a Sector 1 incident. What's happened here? Who's crashed? We've got a yellow flag. If it's a safety car,
Just had a spin.
then it would have been an interesting decision. It would have been an interesting decision had a safety car have come out at that moment in time. What I like about the series as a whole, and particularly the last session as well, is it's a Game of Thrones mod, and it actually feels like a Game of Thrones TV series, all the stuff that happened yesterday. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Don't get me wrong. You know, if it was, and that's the thing, and it's not me being bitter at all because Hamilton's not winning, therefore I'm not going to watch anymore. Or I'm going to, because I do still watch, but it's red. And hate's a strong word, right? Hate is a very strong word because I don't know these people personally. They might be lovely people off camera, you know. They might be the salt of the earth. I don't think so, but it's who's winning that is so painful. If Ferrari were dominating right now, hate. I'm sticking with hate. It's a strong word, but hate is the burning hate, the burning feeling that I have for that team. I hate Frank Lampard as well. Yes, I do. Again, can you hate somebody you don't know? I don't know, but yeah, you can because you. Excuse my language, people here, but when somebody's a twat. You can tell they're a twat, right? And Frank Lampard is a twat. I'm sorry to say it if you're a Frank Lampard fan, but clearly he is a A-grade twat, and so is Christian Horner. So yeah, if Ferrari were winning and Ferrari were dominating, you know what? I'll be happy for them. It's been a long time for them, and I like Leclerc. I don't mind Sainz. You know, young drivers, and both of them drive fairly and cleanly and quickly. I'll be happy for them. Won't be a problem. You know, McLaren, even Aston Martin. You know, if they were suddenly dominant this season, which they've done very well, and Alonso. I mean, I'm not the biggest Alonso fan, but I slightly dislike him. But I still wouldn't mind him winning. It'd be quite a nice fairy tale, wouldn't it, for Alonso to win a championship at the ripe age of 41 or whatever he is now, after so many years after his last title. It would be a fantastic story. But it's the team and the people in the team that are winning and dominating right now, which really grates on me. Yeah, Verstappen crashed into him. See, I actually quite like Perez, right? So if Perez suddenly was allowed to fight Verstappen for a title, and I think he is allowed, technically speaking, but Verstappen is a good driver. Let's not be unfair to the man. He's a very good driver. So to keep up with him is going to be very difficult for Perez. But you know, even if Perez won the title, for example, I wouldn't feel half as bad because I like Perez as a driver. I think he sailed a bit close to the wind defending against Hamilton a couple of times, but nonetheless, who wouldn't do that? You know. So I wouldn't mind that. A safety car now would be perfect, by the way. Safety car now would be perfect. Timing. Yeah, he's trapped in a toxic team, yeah. And don't forget, Perez has been screwed by Red Bull on more than one occasion last season for the benefit of Verstappen. So, you know. Anyway, let's not talk about negative things, okay? Negativity's not good. Let's embrace and enjoy the virtual F1, where things are going in our favour. You know, let's embrace it. Right, pit window is indeed coming up. Let's have a look at the tyre wear. We are currently... I think we could probably go on to a set of softs now quite happily and still make it to the end. I don't know. I mean, given that we are... Science is our main threat, by the way, and he's actually only 26 seconds behind us. And the soft tyres are only 0.2 of a lap quicker than the medium tyre. And the question is, how hard can we push the softs? So actually, as we currently sit here, about to come down the corner, this decision isn't quite so straightforward, and this actually is a lot closer than it seems. Now, can we see where the soft tyre takes us. It doesn't show us how far the soft tyre takes us, but if it replicates real life, then this is still the call, because we've got less fuel in the car, so it's less abrasive on the tyres, less weight on the tyres. This is clearly the quickest tyre. It says they can do 31 laps. It's just a case of how hard can we push them. It doesn't tell you how far the softs will go when you're looking at the strategy, when you're putting the when you're putting the tyre on. They must make it to the end though, surely. Let's hope this is not a mistake. Ooh, just made it. We may get passed by science here.
And just remind to use the pit limiter in the pit lane.
No, we can't push those mediums any longer. We've got to come onto the softs now, I think. This better be fine. Oh, we've got plenty of life in these. Plenty of life. Ah, this is easy. Science is actually further away than we might think, but it's a long pit lane. Oh no, we're out. We're out, boys and girls. We are out and ahead of Carlos Sainz and on a quicker tyre once again. We're even ahead of Perez. What were we panicking about? What were we fussing about? We don't want to push these tyres too hard, by the way, either, so we'll maintain the same pace that we were, which is neutral pace. Yeah. You can amend the strategy. Oh, you mean amend the strategy in terms of in the pit window? I don't know. Maybe we could have done. Like here. Penalties, tyres. Obviously we're not going to pit again, but I just wanted to see if we could change the strategy mid-race. Maybe we could. Okay, so let's have a look at Perez's tyre. Perez's tyre is 63% hards, clearly will be much slower. The hards are 7/10 of a lap slower than the softs. Perez is clearly going to the end. Sainz will be quicker than Perez, so he's gaining on Perez. Perez has only stopped once, though. So Perez is probably taking these hards to the end. Utilising the safety cars he is, and doing a sterling effort in eking them out, but Sainz will catch him. Yeah, the tyre strategy is here, but you can't change it here, right? You can't change the strategy. Oh, change strategy. Aha! Aha! There we go. You can. Oh, right. For future reference, thank you, guys. I've never done that. Or maybe I forgot that I've done it in the past. You don't usually have to change your strategy on the fly. Thank you very much. Barring catastrophe, you think we've got this? Yeah, I think we've got it too. I think we need to go for fastest lap, though. I think we need to go for fastest lap. Give me fastest lap. Give it to me. Not yet, because we've got back markers in the way. Exactly. Potter's got it right for a change. Potter has. We will pay more attention in future to the time differentials of the strategies, because clearly it said that this strategy was 7 seconds per lap quicker. In fact, now that we've gone on to softs and extended, this is probably an even quicker strategy for the circumstances of this race. Clearly we had safety cars, so going on to set of softs was the perfect strategy here. Makes us as quick as possible, and we're going to get DR. Oh, we've got fastest lap without even pushing. Such as the pace of the tyre. 120.5. That really should be game, set and match for fastest lap. I can't see too many other people coming in for a set of softs. We're the only car on the grid on a set of softs right now. So it is happy days as the back marker gets out of our way. Thank you very much, Mr. Ocon. I tip my hat to you, sir. So yes, good old Lando Norris can afford to cruise around here, not take too many risks, I still don't know if there's a correlation between pushing your tyres and pushing or reducing your lift and coast and having an accident. It would make sense that there would be a correlation, an increased risk, but not quite so sure. But just in case there is, we're not going to risk it. In fact, we could actually ask him to conserve a little bit and lift and coast a bit more often, just to be doubly safe, but we won't do that either. We'll just have him pootle around as he has been doing in his own little world, in his own little zone, and win the race. I do often wonder, you know, as a professional F1 driver, if you're in a dominant car and you're driving around the track and nobody's able to catch you, and literally all you ever see is open road, very rarely get into wheel-to-wheel combat because you're just too fast. You know, Schumacher's era, he did it. You know, Hamilton's era, he did it. Now it's Verstappen's turn. Would you be satisfied? Or would you want a bit of competition? I mean, Hamilton said it many times that he prefers to have a battle on his hand. And people are like, no, you're talking rubbish. But, I mean, it must get pretty dull. I mean, it's nice to win a championship, don't get me wrong, but, you know, every race, cruising around again. Here I am, 10 seconds clear of the rest. Cruising about. You know, whereas, like in 2021, when Verstappen and Hamilton were so close, you know, take Saudi Arabia or Brazil for Hamilton, for example, where he had to really fight for that victory. Both victories. Both times tangling with Verstappen. That must be ultimate satisfaction. Ultimate satisfaction. Anyway, Science is indeed stalking Perez. This is a done deal, by the way. He's on a quicker tyre, a fresher tyre, and this should be easy pickings here. Clearly not just yet. Taking his time, just making the partisan home crowd sweat that little bit longer here. We've got Alonso quite close to Magnus. We've got a couple of close battles in the closing stages of this race. Verstappen still insisting on driving around with half a wing in the most utterly stupid thing ever seen. Not quite as crazy as when it was Sainz, I think, earlier in the season. Drove around with no rear wing, which is even worse. They'd have black flagged him and said, look, you've got to come in, mate. You can't drive around like that. I mean, he's stupid. With a front wing, you can go around without a front wing, or half a wing. It's not as bad, but a rear wing is like literally all your downforce gone. It's a bloody health risk. Right, here we go, down the outside. Okay, so that's how much pace he's got. He went down the outside of the corner at the shortest DRS straight on the track and made it stick. Pretty easy job there. Scotland are playing Spain, and they are 2-0 up. I didn't even know there was international football on today. Not that it would have changed my opinion of streaming, because I don't watch international football. I don't watch club football. I just follow the scores occasionally. Yeah, starting from the back and making your way through the field is also pretty decently fun, unless of course you're in a car that is so fast that it's like taking candy from a baby. You saw in Jeddah how fast that Red Bull is with DRS down the straight. What did Crofty say? Or was it Martin? That the pace differential between a DRS'd Red Bull against a non-DRS Mercedes was like 20 kilometres an hour difference in speed. That's insane in F1 terms. Absolutely ludicrous. It's literally like the difference between an F1 car and an F2 car, or whatever the hell the formula is called nowadays. GP2 or whatever. It's a massive difference. 20 kilometres an hour. So even making your way through the field, if you're passing everybody on a DRS straight when you've got a massive pace difference, probably still isn't as much fun. Nonetheless, you still got to get your wheel-to-wheel combat and get involved a little bit. So it's probably more fun than cruising around at the front. I give you that granted. F1 cars Oh, the engines are the same. Don't get me wrong, I do like the fact that there is, innovation and stuff. But it does lead to this kind of field spread situation, which isn't always the best thing to watch. Right, we're going to go to 2-speed till the end here. We've got the cars covered. Perez has now lost his position to Sainz. The other cars that are battling for position we're not overly concerned about. Leclerc, who we haven't followed actually, we should have been following Leclerc probably a bit more closely, but I've been sidetracked by F1 discussion, which is apt in an F1 stream, I suppose, has made it up to 5th position. Clearly not getting any higher, he's 27 seconds behind Russell, but he's done well to get up to P5 from being at the back of the grid and having his wing damaged. So, damage limitations, and especially since Sainz isn't winning the race, Leclerc will probably be pretty happy now. After this recovery drive, good effort. Perez will be happy. Hometown boy on the podium, so he'll be pretty happy with that. And he's only one stop, so a good effort there. Sainz will be as happy as he can be because he's never really looked likely to stop the mighty Norris, who's been a class apart once again, just like in Singapore, when he's dialed into the track. The car's working well and the track suits our car's characteristics. He is a force to be reckoned with, and I'm hoping that next season we'll be seeing more of this. When I've been talking to you guys about, driving around the front is very boring. Yeah, let's hope that we're driving around the front a lot next season, because it means we've done a good job. Yeah, Verstappen ploughed into the back of him. It's made my job a lot easier today, having only one car to worry about, I suppose. But I do feel like, given some of the drama in the race, that we could have negotiated Ricciardo to a P2 finish. I really do think we could have achieved that. So that's a little bit disappointing. Especially since Verstappen has finished so low down. But hence, if Daniel Ricciardo wasn't wiped out, then Verstappen wouldn't have wiped him out, so Verstappen wouldn't have had a broken wing, so Verstappen would have scored more points, if you get what I mean. So really, swings and roundabouts, I suppose. But anyway, we've got 5 laps to go here. I refuse to put it into 4 speed, really. I don't like to use a speed that puts us in that this stupid map mode, so we will continue on at 2 speed. We'll just follow Lando Norris for the last few laps here, as we've got some overtaking going on down the field. We've got Joe overtaking Gasly there for 8th position, as the Alfa Romeo is still looking like it's pretty good today. Just a shame Bottas fell foul of the careering Hamilton, who was knocked, of course, by somebody else. Oh, it was Joe, wasn't it? Yeah. Oh, he's pitting again. He's pitting with 3 laps to go. Why are you doing that? Your tyres can't be that knackered, surely. He's putting on a set of softs. Is he going for a fastest lap point or something ridiculous? What is he doing? He might get fastest lap now, actually. Fresh set of softs. Oh. And he's in 10th, so he will get the point. You only get the point if you're in the top 10. An interesting strategy. One that I can't be on board with, really. I'd be furious if I was him. Why am I coming in with 3 laps to go? Your tyres are about to explode. You've got to come in now. The case of the exploding tyre. Always seems to happen at Silverstone, that, doesn't it? It happened to about 3 cars one year in Silverstone. I think Raikkonen might have been one of them. 3 cars' tyres all just burst. And then, of course, it happened to Hamilton in 2020 when he finished on 3 wheels, essentially. So it has happened before now. The tyres don't explode. They just... The integrity of the tyre it fails, basically, and it just ends up caving in on itself. But with his speed, he is going to get past Mick Schumacher. He's not going to get Gasly, though. So, unless his tyres were critical, this was a foolish endeavour. And is he going to get fastest lap? No, I think that might have been his out lap. So this could be his fastest lap. Who knows? Let's see. We're not gonna push Norris to get it. Of course, we don't want to risk it. Basically, what we're going to do we're going to try to see if we can squeeze Brazil in to this stream. And what we're going to do, I've never done this by the way, but what we are going to do to enable us to get to the race quicker is we're going to auto-simulate practice and qualifying so that we can get straight to the race.
This is the last.
So we'll ride on board with the race leader for the final lap of the race. The only reason why I auto-simulate is because I want to manage the car's engines and gearboxes, which we've done well this season. We only had to buy one engine and one ERS, I think, and one gearbox, whereas other teams have bought more than that because we don't push our cars in practice. And also manage the tyre allocation in practice because depending on the strategy of the race, like this race for example, we wanted to have 2 medium tyres for certain spare. So if we auto-simulate practice, then we might not get the tyre allocation that we want. So that's why I don't auto-simulate it. Auto-simulating qualifying is a lot more straightforward because it's just qualifying, really. But in order to speed things up a little bit, I think it's just worth the risk, and we'll have to make do with whatever tyres we've got for the race. It may compromise our race, but at least we get another race in today and puts us closer to the end of the season. We're in no man's land anyway, really. We can't finish any higher than third, and we can't finish any lower than third. And the Drivers' Championship doesn't net you any money, I don't think. I think it's just the constructors that pays out. So we're kind of in no man's land.
The lemon is the checkered flag, so we are boxers lap.
Well done, Norris.
Awesome.
Watch the replay
Let's take a closer look.
as he crosses the line. The final corner, car number 4, Lando Norris didn't put a foot wrong. He got into the lead of the race by the end of the first lap, and he never relinquished it until he pitted, maybe. Or did he? Yeah, he may have relinquished it for a pit stop or two, but other than that, he was basically in control of this race the entire time. Brought it home nicely. Is this next year's world champion that we're looking at here? Could be. Are Potter's team going to give him the car to do the job? Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Speaking of Potter, I actually watched a clip of Phoenix Nights yesterday. It just showed up on my YouTube feed rather strangely. I don't know why, but it did. And then somebody in the comments put, I cannot believe this was 23 years ago. And I was like, what? Phoenix Nights was 23 years ago. Jesus wept. But yeah. And then you looked at when I was watching the clip, some of the technology and the cars that were in the clip is like, yeah, this is definitely 23 years ago. Not a flat screen TV to be seen. All the old CRT TVs, cars that looked horrendous. Yeah, that is insane. I remember watching it like it was yesterday. I got it for Christmas. I watched it with my dad. My dad was actually really loved. I got an achievement for that. Really loved Phoenix Nights, which is really bizarre because he was West Indian, Jamaican he was, so his humour was a bit different to some of ours. But for whatever reason, Phoenix Nights just really tickled him. So I watched the entire series, 2 series actually, with my dad. So yeah, 23 flipping years ago. Because if you remember at the time, those of you old enough to remember these things, there was a massive battle between Phoenix Nights and The Office because they were both on at the same time, and The Office won everything. And I was like, why? The Office, I thought The Office was a bit more of an acquired humour, and I was never a fan of it. But I loved Phoenix Nights, so I was gutted that Office just took all the plaudits. I have seen Max and Paddy, and I wasn't as big a fan of that as Phoenix Nights. Anyway, my dinner is ready, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my dinner, eat my dinner whilst I'm simulating practice and qualifying, finish my dinner, and then we'll have Brazil to look forward to. So bear with me, folks. Get yourselves a little leg stretch, and we'll crack on very shortly. Okay, now listen to this for a mismatch of a meal. It's a bit of a mixed grill, so I've got gammon steak, beans, scalloped potatoes, garlic mushrooms, a crispy cheese bake, means breadcrumbs, and a potato waffle. Hey! Smells delicious. Had a little sample, tastes delicious. Just a bit strange. like a lucky dip. I've got 3 different type of carb here. A crisp bacon waffle and scalloped potatoes. Hello, Hank. Right, so here's your standings. Lando Norris finishing on the top step of the podium. 2 stops. Fastest lap of the race. Maximum points. Which means in the driver's standings, he's only 35 points behind Verstappen. No way. No way is he finishing 3rd. Is he? No way. Daniel, no points, wiped out, of course. In the constructors, we gain 9 points, but it's clearly a stretch too far. And in the driver's standings, Carlos Sainz has gained by 8 points, which means he is now 32 points behind Leclerc. Which means that if he doesn't get within 26 points of Leclerc in the next race, Leclerc will be champion with a race to spare. Classic carb medley. Can't beat a good old carb medley. What did I have for lunch? Oh no. No, you shouldn't have reminded me. I had pasta for lunch. I had pasta yesterday for dinner, so I had leftover pasta for lunch, which is also heavy carbs. And now I'm having carb overload here, which clearly is not good before bed for a start, and clearly not good when you're trying to just lose a couple more pounds, is it? I'm playing an hour of football tomorrow, so I'm going to work extra hard. And I'm in the office, so I have to walk to the office from my car parking space for about 15 minutes because I get free parking where I park in Leeds City Centre, but I found a street where that's free. I'm trying to mention it on a party stream. But it's a 15-minute walk away, so it's quite good exercise as well. So it's a 15-minute walk either way. When you're in the office, you tend to move about more than if you sat at home, don't you? Because you're walking about to tea, stop to toilet, walking around to speak to your staff, etc. So generally speaking, I'm going to have an active day tomorrow. So all of these carbs will be gone, hopefully. Right, okay, no development points there. We've got bonuses to pay out, but we're going to receive bonuses as well from sponsors, so it all evens out in the wash. And design complete. We have a new suspension. Would you go figure? We have upgrades coming on our car at the back end. Pretty poor upgrades. They're rushed and clearly not as good as our main upgrades, but they all add that extra little bit of performance. So let's take a look at our cars for a second. So car park development, current project. So we've got 2 weeks. So these will be ready. So this will be ready. The side pods will be ready for the final race of the season, which will of course be Abu Dhabi. The rear wing research will be ready for next season. Clearly, we have another design slot now free, where we are going to create a new suspension. Was it, or was it a chassis? No, it's a chassis. A new chassis. Probably going to... Oh, we've got a completely new testing allocation, actually. What do we want to do with this testing allocation? We could pump it all into a chassis, which makes no sense because chassis is not our specialism. Although we could pump it into a new chassis, I suppose. We could pump it all into a fresh set of front wing research for next season to offset the drop in expertise. I don't know what to do with this. What do we do with this? I think for this chassis we're going to use a little bit of it. We'll use a little bit. We've got a bit to spare. We'll put 15 in. Just a tiny little bit. Depends how long the chassis is going to take. Will it be ready for Abu Dhabi even? If it's not going to even be ready, is it worth doing? Let's have a look. Let's drag reduction. Takes down engine cooling. But increases our top speed and increases our acceleration. Engine cooling doesn't really matter that much. We'll offset with one click of engine cooling. And then airflow middle also harms engine cooling a little bit, so we'll just click that there. Excuse me. 36 days. If we rush it, 24 days. We'll be ready, I think, just before Abu Dhabi, maybe? Or maybe not. When does Abu Dhabi occur? Yeah, Abu Dhabi occurs within 24 days, right? I think so. We're going to go for it anyway. Won't reach completion date. It tells you. That will reach completion date. So you might be asking, why would you still want to do this if you're not going to get the benefit out of it for this season? Well, we are, because it carries over to next season, you see. So it's still worth doing. So I still think we do this. We've only got one engineer spare. If we do it 19 days, we might get it for Abu Dhabi. I'm just thinking, do we need our engineers for something else? Probably not. I'm quite happy with this development now, so I think we'll put... Which makes... do we put all of our CFD hours into it then? Is there anything else that we're going to need our CFD time for this cycle? I don't think so. So I think we just pump it all in. If it's a mistake, it's a mistake. But I think, because it helps the percentages, so I think we should... And a chassis is the bedrock of your car, right? So let's do it again. Keep the same split there. Rush it as quickly. Let's get it out as quickly as possible. It's only 177 grand. Let's pump that out. We need to manufacture our new suspension, and we need to manufacture that before the next race. So I don't think we have to do rushed here. I think 10, 15 days, 11 days, 10 days for 2. I think we might need to rush it then. Get 3. Let's get them designed, and let's have a look at the warehouse to see what's happening with the car of Mr. What's his face, Daniel. His car's probably knackered. Did he damage his rear wing? We must have damaged a car in that crash. Where's the warehouse? There we go. Front wings 4. Yeah, rear wing. We must have lost the rear wing. Yeah, we've lost the rear wing, but we still got 3, so that's fine. You must have lost a floor as well. No, no floor suspension. That's getting built. That should be back. So we're getting a new suspension to put on our car for Brazil. Everything else there is fine. I think we may have lost a gearbox. Oh, he's lost an ERS system. Look, he's lost his ERS, damaged it. This was a brand new ERS as well. He's going to have to use a used one. Never mind. Knackered his gearbox as well. That was a new gearbox too. Oh, it wasn't. This was a worn gearbox. It's fine. Engine. Oh, he's knackered his engine as well. Oh, this was a brand new engine. Because look at Lando's. Yeah, we designed them both at the same time. So this was a brand new engine. Completely knacked. So he knackered his engine, his gearbox, and his ERS in that crash. which is £3 million worth of damage in a cost cap situation, catastrophic, and a rear wing. Oh, happy days. It's probably going to tell us here, actually. Right, ATR kicks in, post-race, congratulations, very good. I'm trying to save this for a second because I'm not quite so, I'm not so sure about the testing rules, you see. Okay, our helipad has been upgraded. And our memorabilia room has been upgraded. All for team team attractiveness or whatever it was. Gearbox in poor condition, ERS. I know! He broke them! Well, sorry. Remember I lost the phone, wanted me to ring a phone so she could hear it. It's the second time it's happened in the space of a week. Right, okay, so circuit information, that's fine. Let's have a look. Right, manage the car builds. So we've got a new suspension on both cars now. Boof. Nicely done. So let's have a look at the car analysis. Does that give us any additional advantage there? Not really. Still good on the cornering and still crap in a straight line. Okay, that's pretty much to be expected, to be fair. We're going to review our performance targets, which is clearly qualify as high as possible. I reckon it's probably, as we get towards the back end, we're going to now say that both drivers can get in the top 8 here. Reach Q2 with both cars clearly should be doable. Fastest lap of the race and finish position, I reckon both cars finishing in the top 8 again. We failed this last time because Daniel got wiped out, of course, so that wasn't good, and we're not going to get a streak really because there's only 2 races left, so it is telling us for 2 races finish in the top 8 with both drivers for 900 grand, which should be doable. So that's our race performance targets. A quick look at the circuit here. We are at the classic circuit of Sao Paulo, an old stager of the of the calendar. It's been on the grid for some time as this circuit. Quite a nice track to drive on, actually. In the games, of course. I haven't driven it in real life. But let's have a look at the car attributes. It's going to be not the best race for us. Acceleration not our strong point, and low speed cornering is... No, low speed cornering is good for us, and medium speed is high speed where we're 5th. So this actually might be not a bad track for us. Time considerations, safety car, 67%, average pit time loss under green flag, 22 seconds or so. That's worth bearing in mind. Expected strategies, 2 stops. So preserving 2 sets of medium tyres is definitely important. Which makes me think that going auto practice is not a good idea. Race tyres. The medium and the hard tyre are effectively the same in terms of lap time, but yet the hard tyre degrades faster. So I'd be minded to say that using 2 sets of hard tyres wouldn't be a bad call either. Maybe going soft, hard, something like that. I don't know. But it's a two-stop strategy race, which means carnage will ensue, no doubt, again. But yeah, we will chance it. We will play whichever hand we're dealt with. If we don't have the tyres to do what we want, we'll have to make do with what we've got for the sake of time. So what I'm going to do is we're going to proceed onwards. I'm going to mute myself while I eat and sort out the practice and the qualifying, and then I'll be back with you in about 10 to 15 minutes for the race. So let's see what we can do.
The carnival atmosphere has already started here in Sao Paulo as Brazil welcomes the Formula One Grand Prix. The Autodromo José Carlos Pache has been a staple of the racing calendar for decades, and soon we'll once again be watching the best drivers in the world give it their all. The Sao Paulo track is beautifully designed to present an enticing challenge for teams and drivers alike. Between medium-speed S-corners, hill climbs, and the high-speed section after Junsao, this circuit calls for cars to have a balanced setup to succeed here. This is it. We're down to the last few races of the season, and it's time for that final push. Who will be crowned champion at the end of it all? We'll find out soon enough. Today, we see the
Radio check. Okay, radio check.
Sessions should be starting now. Just be mindful of curves.
Understood.
There's been a crash. Sounds like a single car. Someone spun out. Who's running wide there? Oh, did someone run wide there? I think someone's run wide. There's been a crash. Sounds like there's been a crash. We've just had a car run wide.
Okay, Lando, that is the end of the session.
And radio check.
Yeah, all good.
Track should be green.
Righty-ho, back with you again. So I ate most of it. I couldn't eat the potatoes as well. Too many carbs. Carb overload, man. Can't do it. I had a handful of them, but I've had to leave some of them. Anyway, so we did basically manage the last practice, and we're managing the last qualifying, clearly. Because we just want to... Why has Norris got 0.3 of a second slower lap time than Ricciardo? That's a bit bizarre. Not usually... Oh no! You utter flipping moron! I forgot to change the car parts. They're driving around in worn parts. Oh no. For fuck's sake. They ain't going to even get anywhere near the front of the grid. They're never going to do it. There's no point of even going out for a second lap. Just no bloody point. That's crap. Is there a point? There's no point. Cars are knackered. Engine's knackered, the gearbox is worn. We did well to get through the first two bloody bits, through the first two parts of qualifying with them parts. Bloody hell. Oh, what a muppet. Our only saving grace is that there's 3 engine penalties in front of us, so we're going to go up the grid. It's the only saving grace.
It's race day with the teams and drivers.
But at least I didn't get to the race and realise it, because that would have been quite... Is it wet? Oh, it's wet! Oh, hang on, folks, it's wet weather. Oh, this evens the things up a little bit. Oh yes, it does. Right, let's put the good parts in, or the best parts that we can possibly put in, given that Daniel's parts are all knackered. ERS. Let's go. Gearbox. It's the best we've got. Not the greatest of cars, but it's what we've got to play with, unfortunately, given this accident. Okay, so we're going to start on the inter-tyre. Compound strategy, there is no strategy. We're going to be wet weather, but we will take a look at the predicted weather in a minute. Let's just make sure we get the right flipping parts in, shall we, first? Just get the right parts in. Lando's got brand spanking new parts. Happy as Larry. The gearbox could have done with being a bit less worn, but it's, for this stage of the season, it's not bad. If you look at the amount of grid penalties around the grid, I think we've done pretty well to only have to buy one of each part, and all at the same race, so that we didn't suffer penalties in more than one race. So we've pulled a blinder, as the saying goes there. Right, let's have a look at the strategies then, to see where the rain is coming. Let's have a look at the track dampness. Ooh. Okay, so it's raining, but it's not raining to the point where it's going to be massively beneficial for us, where we can take advantage of maybe some AI slackness, because it looks like it's going to be inters, and inters last a while. So it could be inters for a long time and then dries, which is a bit of a kind of wet race. We prefer it to be dry than wet, you know, mixing it up a bit. But hey, we'll see how it pans out. So we're just going to go on inters for now, and then we'll have to change strategies on the fly in the race. So we're in 6th and 7th, given the grid penalties. We have a fast car. We have wet weather, variable weather. So we're just going to see what we can do. Hope for the best, really. Hope for the best. If we win this race, it's probably going to be a miracle.
The driver's now in position and waiting for the light.
But for a change, we get to ride on board with Daniel as the lead car on the grid. The lights are on, 5 lights, a longer hold, the lights are out, and it's away we go. It's down to the first corner. It's a bit of a short run down to the first left-hander into the Senna S's here in Brazil, as Danny Rick is looking like he's wanting to make a move up the inside of not one but 2 cars. And is he going to make it stick? He seems to have the momentum going down this straight, but oh no, he's just losing out now to Perez. But he's on the inside line. Will he outbrake his opponent going into this left-hander? He's taking half the car on the grass to do it, but he still maintained some car on the right side of the white line, I would like to guess, for the old stewards there. Hang on, Perez is not giving up the ghost here. This slow and technical section of the track. Let's have a look outside and see what's going on as Daniel Ricciardo and Perez are going side by side here for what has been probably half a lap at this point. Neither car wanting to yield,
Nice work.
but Daniel finally makes it stick as Lando Norris isn't done. He's also getting in on the action here.
McLaren gain a position.
He's overtaken Russell, and now he's up the inside of Perez, going round what is a not quite a straight, down, round past the pit entry, over the start-finish line, and is he going to outbrake Perez into the first corner? I would like it to say that he is, and he is. He's like nose ahead, and he's up into P5, P4 and P5 after the first lap. I'd call that quite a success, to be honest with you. Right, let's just turn things down briefly for now, as we've got a bit of balance. We're going to go aggressive on the tyres. I just want to make sure, take a look at the graph of the inter tyre seems to be wearing a lot quicker on this surface than it used to do. We might have to be very careful with this inter tyre. Normally the inter tyre lasts for a long time, and today it seems to be lasting 20 laps, which is not a lot of laps at all. I have to be careful with this tyre, actually. Anyway, Daniel Ricciardo, P4. So we've got Sainz, Verstappen, Leclerc, Ferrari, Red Bull, Ferrari. Oh, and Daniel's off! Daniel is off! He's locked up, he's off, and he's going to wait until the back of the grid now to get back on the track. I can't. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh.
Let's take a look at the replay.
No, let's not! Let's not take a look at the flipping replay, you idiot. Oh, Daniel! What did I say in the last race? What did I say? Oh, I don't think we'll replace Daniel. I think we'll just have him as number 2 driver. Okay. Incoming Valtteri Bottas as the number 2 car next season. God's sake. He was the lead car for a change. Right, he's got a battle on his hands now. Standard. I ain't even going to bother with him. He's left to his own devices at this point. You think I've got time to worry about you, Daniel? Make your own way through the field. Do what you need to do. Fastest lap of the race. Oh, right, riding on board with Lando Norris as he's... don't forget, also, we won't get DRS because it's wet. So that's going to make overtaking a little bit more tricky. Probably now impossible, I would like to say, but you never know. And we're going to dial it down now because we have to make these tyres last.
Just be careful with this tyre.
So let's look at the track dampness here. Will it ever get to a wet stage? One of the building upgrades that we got, I said I bought 5 building upgrades. One of the building upgrades that we bought was for the upgraded weather centre as well. So I thought next season, you know, having an upgraded weather centre could again help us on our quest for a title. Daniel Ricciardo, I cannot believe it. I can believe it. I mean, Norris hasn't been without his errors this season. Silverstone, remember Silverstone? Calamity. Never mind. But other than that, he's been pretty consistent. Daniel, however, has wiped out Norris. He's driven off the track there. The last race wasn't his fault, and I'm sure he's done something else as well. This might be a very quick race, because if it's another 71 lap race, by the way, but if we're going to be going round in the wet with no DRS like this, we ain't going to get past, so it's going to be a procession. We'll assess it. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo is also, given that there's no DRS, Daniel Ricciardo will struggle to make his way through the field at this point, but it's his own fault. So, happy days, mate. Enjoy it with the Williams and the Astons. And the Hasses and the other cars that we've one left behind. The track condition has changed to wet. Right. But it is going to dry, but then get really wet for a short time. And then I don't think there's anything to be gained from going onto the wet tyre, unless perhaps we risk it with Daniel. But the rain is easing and not getting heavier, so it's a foolish plan, really. It is quite foolish, but if we're going to do anything outlandish in this wet weather, it'll be with Daniel, because we've got nothing to lose at this point with him. We might as well take a risk or two. but I don't think the track is going to be getting anywhere near wet enough. I think we might risk bringing Daniel in when the track gets really wet for wets. If the other cars stay out on inters, for example, we might risk it there. Might bring him out earlier on the softs as well, maybe. Try and get some leapfrogging done, but we're going to be limited in our opportunities, I'm afraid, with Daniel. Competitor has locked up. We've got an incident in Sector 2, and we've got a slow-moving Leclerc here. What's happening? Was it Leclerc that went wide? No. Oh, it was Latifi. Time to sign Latifi. Maybe not. Okay, we're looking quite quick here. Leclerc is looking a bit sluggish. I kind of think we should be giving Norris a bit of ERS here on the straight to get past. I think we could. Right, next lap. If we're this close again, next lap. People are pitting for wets, by the way. Got 2 cars pitting, which could only be for wets, because they must be on inters, right? They must be on inters already. Yeah, they must be chancing it. Ooh, he's got past Latifi, because Latifi went wide. I can't see this being profitable. It's not going to be wet for long enough. No, I'm not gonna risk it. Not yet. Nah, it's a foolhardy. Don't forget, these teams could have crap weather centres, by the way. These could be crap weather centres. Not working well.
Alonso pitted as well.
Yeah, well, Alonso can pit. I mean, look at the gap. Look at the gap to Bottas. No, it's to Joe. What happened? How is he already 5 seconds behind Russell? How has this happened? It's only lap 5. Clearly struggling in the wet weather and holding the cars up behind him. This is how difficult it is to pass. A car that's moving so much slower than the cars ahead of it is still managing to hold the cars behind here. Ricciardo is up to P17 due to pitters and due to the fact that he's going to be overtaking Albon very shortly. Okay, he's making some moves. As he should be in a faster car. Daniel, you might as well get a point or 2.
Nicely done.
We've got car. This is kind of an interesting situation because cars are going in the grass. Cars. I don't know if it's the lines they're taking or if it is that they're generally struggling in the wet. But Sainz is driving away from Verstappen, who's a wet weather specialist, by the way. Leclerc is dropping back from them. So this is the situation, I think, when it comes to. I'll pause it. That when it comes to drivers' adaptability stat, drivers with a better adaptability will excel. Is it adaptability? I think it is. Will excel in this wet weather situation, whereas those that aren't are struggling. So I'm reckoning that Leclerc's got a worse adaptability than these two, for example. We've got a better than him because he's clearly struggling in that Ferrari. Unless it's to do with the parts that he's got in his car, he's struggling. The track is getting drier after this point, not wetter, so I don't think coming in for wets is a good option. We'll let the other cars around us do that, and we'll just pick off the places. We'll pick off the places and hope that they've made a mistake. But look, he's really holding us up. We're going to actually start to push Lando here, because I think we've got this man. Oh, there you go. There you go. Put him on push, put him on aggressive, put him on deployment, and we get past. There we go. Let's leave him behind.
Nice job.
Making sure that the tyre...
So just keep taking care. You're doing a good job.
Yeah. Okay, I did think the inters lasted longer than the graph suggested. I mean, they will last longer.
Gain a position.
It's because the strategy is down as push, that's why. If you change the strategy to not doing that, it's on aggressive, you see. It needs to be on conservative. That's why it's so short. I think it was a bit odd. That's the reason why. Right, anyway, we've got some time to make up now. We need to catch up to the back of Verstappen and Sainz if we want any chance of winning this race. As Ricciardo is now up to P13, let's see if we can orchestrate a pass on the Aston here.
Save fuel from now, please. Save fuel from now.
See if we can orchestrate a move. There's a big gap from Stroll to Hamilton. This wet weather is definitely stringing the field out as various degrees of driver capability seems to be taking effect, in addition to car performance. But outbraking Vettel, he will be on the outside of the first part of the chicane, but have the inside for the exit. He will have full beans, full deployment, and he will make it stick as we continue on. And he's up into P12, so okay, we'll let him off. And are we catching up to Verstappen? 2.5 seconds is the gap. Well, the fastest man on the track at this precise moment. More people pitting. Alonso and Magnussen, are they coming back out for... Are they going back in for Inters again? Yes, they are. Big mistake there, clearly. They chanced their arm, but our weather forecast centre said, no, don't do that. That's a foolish thing to do. Yeah, Potter, but you like to take risks, don't you? No, not that many risks. I'm not stupid. I may be outlandish, but I'm not stupid. So 2.5 seconds is the gap, and we seem to be kind of keeping pace, pulling away from Leclerc, who's definitely struggling in these conditions. We are actually losing a little bit of time, to be fair, which is fine. A podium finish might be the best that we can hope for right now, unless there's any high drama, safety cars, accidents, weather doing something that the weather forecasters don't predict. Stranger things have been known. Hamilton's 3.3 seconds ahead. Let's see if Ricciardo can pull that gap down. 3.5, we'll monitor that for now. So we need to assess, basically, whether or not we can push on these tyres, because it's difficult to assess when we don't have the right strategy pushing on. We may want to go on to, we will want to go on to full wets by lap 25. So if we're looking at the strategy view, 25, I think we can afford to push these tyres. The gradient of this is quite shallow, even shallower for Lando. So I think we need to push these tyres, because we're going to be changing them at lap 25. We're definitely coming in for a stint on the wet tyre, I would suggest. Yeah, 10 laps on the wets, definitely. Probably coming for a set of inters when it's drying, and then a set of softs at the end, I think, or mediums at least. I think there's going to be 2 more stops in this race because of the conditions here. So we're going to actually up the pace with both of our cars. Think we can afford to.
Understood.
I think we can afford to. I think we need to be brutally honest. Track is drying out a little bit, but the heavens are about to open again. And look at how fast Ricciardo is gaining on Hamilton. Hamilton is bogged down behind Bottas, Gasly, Tsunoda. Bit of a 4-car train there. 5th carriage about to join the party. Hopefully Lando will be able... There's 5 cars there even. There's Tsunoda. Oh, and Joe in front of that as well. So Ricciardo's going to have a bit of a fight on his hands to get through that little procession, but he can do it, and we're gaining now on Verstappen. We've given Norris the order to push. We've assessed the tyre situation. Things are looking good. Faster you go. Not a problem, he says. I'm on it. I'm off. I'm off skis. With this kind of pace... race victory isn't a far-fetched pipe dream right now. It's a prospect. It's a realistic prospect. It is a realistic prospect. Let's not get too excited though. A long way to go in this race. A long way to go. There we go. And this is one of the few anti-clockwise circuits on the calendar. There are a bit more than there used to be, but there's definitely more clockwise circuits. Yeah, the gap is definitely coming down, isn't it? Yeah, it's good. Right, let's have a look at Daniel's escapades here. I was leaving him to his own devices and going to hang him out to dry, but seeing as he's managed to get back up into P12 and he's in a nice little battle here, I think we shall keep an eye on the situation for now. Let's outside view it for a bit. Watch all these fantastic cars doing their stuff. Oh, he's going up the inside of Hamilton. Up there, he's making a move. He ain't hanging about. His Daniel. He's got a point to prove here. He has a point to prove, and he has passed Hamilton. He's passed Hamilton, and he's looking like he might be looking to want to pass another car in as many corners. But He's got to get past Hamilton first. Ricardo,
And McLaren
deployment,
with a great overtake.
engine pushing. Let's do it. Let's give him all the juice. Let's give him all the juice, man. Come on, let's get it done. Let's get past. Let's do it. Come on. Go. Go, 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 go. Turn that down. Engine down. I mean, we've got quite a fuel deficit. We've got to be very careful with the fuel here. Okay, we're past Hamilton, which is, I suppose, something. We'll have to wait to see if he gets past Bottas next. But he is definitely looking like he is quicker than all of these cars, so this should be doable. Just got to pick his spots and avoid a collision. Easier said than done in these conditions, but there you go. He's pulling out. Look at the reflection on the helmets. That's pretty cool. He's coming down around the... Oh, he's switched to the inside. He's done a little bit of a dummy. We've got a Sector 2 incident. Nobody seems to have gone too awry, thankfully. And we'll have to check in with Norris. Oh, it was Joe. He's gone a bit wide there. We'll switch now to Lando, who is making some great inroads on Max Verstappen. Coming up to start lap 12 it is, and we have got the gap down to less than a second. It was 2.6 at one point, but Lando was given the hurry up, and he's duly delivered, and he's dialing in once again. Once he gets into that mode, he's pretty quick. A tenth of a second behind Bottas. But still not making a move. Come on, Danielson. Is he going to make a move at the inside? No, he's too far back now. It seems his favourite place to pass is in this particular section. Let's see if he does something again. He does a little switching left and right. It seems to be too far back, to be fair, but he's going up the inside. No, he's making a move. He's doing it again. He's doing it again. We're going to give him push again. Maybe a bit more aggressive. And it looks like we may have made that stick already. Let's have a look. Nope, still side by side, but we're definitely ahead. There we go. We've got our nose in front, and off we go again. Oh, he's look at that, pushing Gasly wide there. Pushing. He's not messing about, isn't Daniel? Is he? He's taking no prisoners. No prisoners, no mercy. Give him deployment again. It's right on board as he hopefully will power out of the final corner and get some good momentum down this pit curve as it is. He's jinking left. He's got momentum, but is he going to be able to make it stick with the top speed deficit that we have to the cars ahead of us? Given our design concept, it's fine. 2 down, 3 to go, and we're 2 tenths behind Verstappen now.
Okay, keep looking after
The cars are so erratic on that particular complex, but it's now Norris's turn to see if he can pass a car in that complex. Not this lap, but maybe next lap. We're going to have to be careful of the fuel here. It seems that fuel usage around this track is quite high compared to normal. We haven't pushed massively with either car, and they're both in deficit of the... Oh, well, Verstappen has gone off! Verstappen is off! He's beached it! We saw it live again!
Let's see what happens
2 races in a row, he's cocked up.
They're forced wide, and there we can see
Lando
the
Norris was putting him under extreme pressure, and he's buckled.
big lock up there.
Absolutely buckled he has. World champion by foot. Right, Danny Rick. Next on our list, Carlos Sainz. Come on, Lando, you can do it. Come on, lad. Karma, exactly. Right, Daniel. Daniel is now the one that's got the most action. Norris will keep an eye on, but the Ferrari of Sainz is looking pretty quick, I will admit. 2.4. We'll see. We'll see. It all depends on what we're going to do when the wet weather comes. The forecast keeps changing. Are we going to go on to wets? Are we going to stick with the inters? It's difficult to call. It really is. The graph isn't accurate. It looks like it's going to be wet from here, at least from here to here. which is enough laps to change tyres. But it depends if that changes or not. Let's have a look at the tyre life. Our tyre life is actually much worse than the AI's, but we're pushing because we're anticipating coming in for full wets. If it's not full wet weather, then this could be a mistake. But hey, we'll have to roll with it, as Daniel is trying to pressurise Gasly into a mistake here. Norris, it was a 10th quicker that lap compared to Sainz, but that's not going to be enough to gain anywhere near at the speed we need him to. I wonder if we stop pushing for a little while until we can better assess this position. I think we need to stop pushing, actually. I think we do need to stop pushing.
Just be careful with this tyre.
Genuinely. I think... Yeah, look at the tyres going off quite quickly if we push. Sector 2, we've got an incident. Hang on. It's Sainz! It's Sainz! He's gone off as well!
Up and gone straight on.
Norris has been handed a gift by both drivers.
Let's have another look.
Ahead of him. Oh, he just completely cocked it up. Missed his braking zone and off he goes, beaches it into the gravel. This is unbelievable, Jeff.
Yellow's ahead.
Right, Norris. Keep it steady. Keep it on the road. Neutral. Don't push. Don't push. Just go steady. Oh, we've been given a right old gift here. A big old gift. Ricciardo's up to P10. So, Sainz and Verstappen completely cocking up. It's absolutely hilarious, isn't it? Absolutely unbelievable. Right, okay. So 16 laps gone. Norris, by some minor miracle, finds himself in first position. Don't forget he started in P6 on the grid. So with no DRS, and this is a good effort. Of course, he's been gifted it, but we'll take it. We will take it. And we know that Norris is a good front runner. As soon as he gets a sniff of race victory and he has his nose in front, he knows how to manage it. Come on, laddie. Can't it be lap 70? We've got a long way to go. I mean, we're managing the pace quite well, to be fair. It's the unpredictability of the weather that I'm worried about. If we make a wrong strategy call, it's going to be catastrophic. And now as the lead car, we don't have the advantage of cars ahead of us doing something first. And us just simply covering them off or following suit. So we have to set the trend, basically, which makes life a little bit more tricky. But it's one of the pitfalls of being in the lead, I suppose. I'd still rather be in the lead and have to face this quandary than not be in the lead. So we'll take it. Right, it looks like Ricciardo is now struggling to pass Gasly. We've obviously turned down his tyre pushing as well now, so he's not got quite the speed that he had. It seems that we may have hit a bit of a roadblock at this point with him. It is a point for finishing in 10th, so we should leapfrog these cars with our pit strategy. We're clearly faster, so if we come in a bit earlier, we might undercut them, or something like that. Get into the drier or the wetter tyres sooner. Hopefully, we'll help with a bit of an undercut with our inherent pace as well. We have to conserve his fuel at some point during this race too. But I think Daniel's a bit stuck there in that little train. Other than that, we've done. Leclerc is gaining, funnily enough. Now, it looks like Leclerc is beginning to find a bit of pace. Okay, interesting. Maybe he was conserving his tyres for that little first stint, and now he's going to make it, 70% compared to 68, 69, 61 of course, 58, oh that's Ricciardo. I think maybe he was conserving a little bit in the early stages. He's 0.3 faster that lap, so he's now gaining on Lando here, which is a little bit worrying. Obviously, we can't see what the AI are doing in terms of their pushing. It's a miracle. It's a blessing that we can see precisely how warm their tyres are, which is information you wouldn't get usually, I suppose. But okay, the race victory is definitely going to be a contest. We ain't driving off into the sunset today. We just need to make sure we get our strategy call right. That is all we need to make sure we do. Get on, and we should probably just do what Martin says and just be on the right tyre at the right time. Just be on the right tyre at the right time. Sounds simple, doesn't it? Just be on the right tyre at the right time. Not as simple as it sounds, clearly. But clearly the right tyre right now is the intermediate tyre. It is a tyre that everybody is on, despite the fact that some drivers thought they'd chanced their arm at putting wets on. Yeah. Tyre wear isn't a major problem, unless, of course, as I said, unless we're sticking with the inters for the entirety of this wet stint. Everybody's going to have to put a second set of inters on anyway, so shouldn't be a massive problem. But given that this line down here indicates 2.44 millimetres of rain or dampness on the track, this has got to be full wets. All of this has got to be full wets, surely. Surely. The McLaren chief strategist on the pit wall is feverishly checking every flipping weather forecast. He's looking up and he's checking the wind and looking at the clouds and everything here. It's desperate times. This is probably one of the most vital strategy calls we've had all season. Some of the wet weather strategy calls have been quite straightforward. This one might not be quite so straightforward, and it's vital because we need to win this race. Ricciardo is battling with Hamilton again. And this looks like Ricciardo's actually lost a position now from 11th, from 10th to 11th.
This is my pace.
Do you want sympathy? It's your own fault you're down there, pal.
It's a race position gained for a Mercedes.
1.1 second is now the gap. Charles Leclerc is on the charge. And I'm debating what to do to respond to this. I think we push him. The wet weather's coming. I think we push. With both cars. In for a penny, in for a pound and all that. In for a penny, in for a pound. We push, push, push. Push, 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 push. We won't go full attack, but I am a bit apprehensive about crashing. But I think we need to inject a bit more speed here. Okay, it might be working. Verstappen is passing Sainz here. Got Ferrari and Red Bull battling for 5th and 6th after both of them have had calamities. And it looks like Sainz might be the faster car here. He's passed Verstappen, and next on his list is Russell. But Sainz, don't forget, was leading this race, so clearly has the pace in the car and the confidence in the track conditions, albeit he went off in the track conditions. But he's pretty quick, it seems, today. That track isn't getting any wetter, is it? But 1 minute, the weather is going to start to turn into a downpour. Right tyre, right time. Right tyre, right time. Simple, right? Right tyre, right time. Come on. Come on now. It's all a matter of luck as to when the rain falls, and because if it starts to get really wet after we've just passed the line, then we're a bit screwed, aren't we? It's starting. It's starting. But it's too early to come in this lap. I think next lap could be the lap. I think next lap could be the lap to come in for full wets at this point. It's too early now. It must even... Oh, it's going up pretty swiftly, you know. What I'm going to do with Daniel is I'm going to risk it with Daniel because I think we can afford to, and he's a bit further back. It's 4mm is the cut-off point. I think we risk it with Daniel. We've got nothing to lose. He's in a mire here. So we'll risk it with Daniel. So by the time he pits and stops and changes tyres and trundles down the pits and then gets out again, I think it's a good call, this. And let's push, shall we? Norris, on the other hand, is obviously past the pit line. Oh no, not quite yet.
Okay, we'll box this lap, box this lap.
Yeah, one more lap, I think. One more lap for Norris, but we're definitely coming in next lap. We could use the information gathered from Ricciardo. Let's see if Ricciardo is the only one to pit here. Look at the flipping line of cars here. So is Ricciardo the only one of this group that's going to pit now? Probably, because it's not 4mm yet. He's coming in. We want that rain to come down quite heavily now.
Remember the pit lane speed limiter,
This track better get really wet, and it better get really wet pretty sharpish. Right, wets for Lando. We're calling it. We're calling it here. We think it's going to get wet enough for long enough to make going onto wet tyres a viable option. We can push these tyres quite hard because, yep, people are pitting. People are indeed pitting behind us. So Ricciardo is coming out on the tyres at the right time. This was the perfect time for Ricciardo. We're going to push him hard here because he has to undercut all those cars that were ahead of him. This is pertinent. And don't forget, he has to get round the slower cars. He has to get round. Leclerc isn't pitting. This is going to hinder us massively. You have to get round. They're supposed to have patched this problem of cars getting round cars on the wrong tyres. They're supposed to have patched this crap. Get round him! God's sake, man. He's going at 1 mile an hour. Get round. You've got the flipping perfect tyres for the job. Look, he's pulling in bit. Oh, this is stupid. Absolutely stupid. Right, I still think we're okay. I hope. Right, it was Hamilton. Hamilton's in the pits. He's coming out. It was Bottas. Bottas is staying out, I think. Or has he pitted? No, there's still people that haven't pitted. Okay, so this is good for Ricciardo. This is very good indeed. He's got clear air now.
Let's have a look. Daniel
Hello,
Ricciardo
JD.
involved here.
Oh, I don't want to see that. Bloody hell. Trundling round like an idiot. Right, Norris is on the right tyre. The car's ahead of him, wrong tyre. Do not be a safety car. Do not be a safety car. That would give them a very cheap pit stop. Do not be a safety car. That would be catastrophic. Hello, Tahun. That's at least three new faces today. It's very good. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Right, so Norris, Leclerc, another Ferrari strategic blunder, leaving Leclerc out for an extra lap on the Inters has put him from less than a second behind Norris to now, well, several seconds behind Norris. Potter's team doing it again. Come on. God help Verstappen and Perez. What the hell are they doing? Completely on the wrong tyre. Oh, nice. The good old Sims days. Well, apparently there's a couple of real-life Sims coming out, isn't there? Parallel Lives, and I think there was something else I saw. So we may get something similar in the future. It'd be quite nice to do another simulation. You know, real-life Sim. Whatever they're called. People Sim. A People Sim game. Be quite cool. Norris, get past them, please. Leclerc is going to be gaining on us quite quickly. Get past. Go! I hate this. This is the... Oh. They're going to come into the pits as well. Did he hit us? Oh, he spun off.
Sounds like someone's locked up.
I thought he hit us.
Now here we see Max
It's
Verstappen.
Verstappen again. Oh no, he's done it again. Same corner. Same bloody corner. Anyway, Norris has managed to clear the trundling Red Bulls, who still refuse to pit for thingy tyres. Ooh!
With a great overtake.
I wonder if they've actually made the right decision, you know, because it's not getting much wetter and the track is going to start to get drier from here. Maybe they've made the right call, you know. There's still a few people out on Inters. This is very dicey. Very dicey indeed, because although the wets are faster now, we have to pull out enough time to get a pit stop if they don't have to stop again. Although they will, because their tyres are worn as well, so they're going to have to pit for a fresh set of Inters anyway, aren't they? So I think we're still fine. Daniel, I forgot to check in with Daniel. He's currently in P11. He's trying to get past people that are on Inters and clearly struggling because it's a flipping issue in the game.
Good job.
That you can't drive around somebody that's on the wrong tyre. Clearly when you would be like 5 seconds a lap faster than them. But he is making forward manoeuvres. He's up to P9. Sonoda and Joe are both on Inters, so they should be easy pickings too. And we've pulled out 5 seconds on Perez, so definitely the faster. The wet is the faster tyre for now, really much faster now. And the longer this goes on, the worse it looks for Verstappen and Perez and anybody else that is trying to pray that the track dries enough for the Inters to come back into life. It's almost like you're past the point of no return now, aren't you? You're like, well, we're past the window. Do we just keep going and hoping and praying, or do we actually start to come in now, or what? Get past both of them, please, Daniel. Get past now. This is easy. This should be easy. He's got wrong tyre on. Please, just outbrake him, slip around the inside and go. Seriously. 8 seconds the gap to Perez. Leclerc has now passed Perez on the wet tyre. So Leclerc is our main rival. We've got 9 seconds on him at the moment. And the wet tyres last even longer than the intermediates. So we can take these all the way to the end if necessary, although it's not going to be because the track will dry. But Ricciardo is now finally past the cars on the wrong tyre, and Verstappen's still on the wrong tyre, so Verstappen should be easy pickings. 21 seconds is the gap. That should come down quite quickly. So we'll check in with that a bit later. So as things currently stand on lap 27 of 71, Norris is in the lead for the second race in a row. Leclerc is chasing him home, and Perez on the wrong tyre. Sainz is coming quite quick, so we're going to have 2 Ferraris hunting Norris down very shortly. Russell also on the right tyre, hence why he's so high up the grid at the moment. Ricciardo trying his best to pump lap time after lap time, and he's a bit too aggressive on those tyres there. I didn't realise that.
Okay, keep
now would be a good time to conserve some fuel, I think, with Ricciardo.
Okay.
We've got a nice little gap. We're on the better tyre than Verstappen. We're going to be passing Verstappen regardless, so I think let's just conserve a bit of fuel here at this stage. We could wait and hope for a safety car, of course, but I don't want to be conserving fuel at the end of the race in an emergency, so we'll conserve it now. Okay, so passing the back markers is a downside easier than the blue flags wave furiously. But Norris is, just taking it nice and steady. 9.6 seconds is the gap. Sparks flying off the back of the car there. Okay, so it's looking like the track is beginning to dry a touch. So again, at some point, coming in for Inters would be a good bet. But at what point? I'm thinking probably around about lap 31-ish. Although the track is just slipping into intermediate territory. But we don't want to be coming in prematurely, is my only concern. Right, this is an interesting. Hamilton is pitting. Hamilton is on inters, but is he on wets or inters? He's on wets. So he thinks it's time to change to inters now. So what I'm going to do, risk it for a biscuit. Oh, we're going to say risk it for a biscuit. We'll bring Daniel in first, but he's actually just past the start-finish line. And Lando, actually, is closer to the start-finish line. We're almost lapping our teammate at this point. I don't think the track is going to be any wetter than it is now. The graph goes down, up a touch, down again. I think it's into weather now. I think it's into weather now. I really do. So I think it's into weather now. We're going to do it again. Early adopter. And with Daniel too. Onto inters. And make sure that we are channeling our inner right tyre on right time mantra here. Just got to keep our fingers crossed that it does not rain any more heavily now. But I think we're fine. I think we're at the crossover point, which means that either tyre is going to be doing a similar lap time. So as Norris dives into the pits,
Okay.
down to the speed limit there, which was, I don't know, I didn't see it, but it could have been 60, 50. Looks like Leclerc's coming in. No, it's not. It must be Sainz. There were definitely Ferrari pit crew out in the grid, in the box. It is for Sainz. Norris is out on inter tyres. Right tyre, right time. Let's hope it works out for him. Ricciardo will be coming round next. He will be going on to inters 2. And we're going to go back to balanced at this point, and Norris will continue to push. We can probably push actually really hard on these inters now, but we'll keep it as it is. Alrighty, so I think we've got the strategy right. I think we've got the strategy right here. On both times, I think the strategy has worked out quite well. I think Ricciardo will work well as well. Don't forget Gasly, Bottas. I say we'll have to pit again, but if they can conserve those inters for another 10 laps, they can put a set of dries on. Those inters will be much slower than our inters, which are very fresh indeed. But interestingly, there are cars out here that have been on inters the entire time. And they're like, we're not stopping for wets, we're going to hang it out on inters. Because that's what we're going to do. And it will work for us. It may do. It may bloody well do. Let's see how Norris is doing here. P3, he's got Russell and Leclerc both in the pits. And I think that this is going to net us even more time on Leclerc. We were about 9.6 ahead of Leclerc when we pitted. I reckon we're going to be a good 12 to 13 ahead now. I think he's pitted again a lap too late. I think so. Let's have a look at the intervals here, or the splits, or whatever. Look at that. Perez and Verstappen. Those that didn't pit for wet tyres are currently not that far away from us. Verstappen has spun off twice. So was putting the wets on for that short stint actually even worth it in the end? If these guys can take it up until the dry weather on them tyres, then actually it was quicker to do that than actually stop for wets, which is rather interesting. Very interesting. It's not going to be down to the freshness of the tyres though. Fresh inters versus very worn inters. 4.5 seconds. So a car's run wide. Always makes me gasp. Is it one of ours? Right, Danny Rick up into P9.
That sounds like someone's gone wide there.
2.7. It looks like he's gaining pretty quickly on Bottas. Everyone's on inters, so it's all about whether or not the worn inters are really that bad. And they are. Look, 2.5. 2.1. Yeah, the worn inters aren't performing very well. So it's a question of tyre wear now rather than wrong tyre. And clearly the fresher inters are much quicker. At least in this case. Ricciardo is gaining like a trooper on Bottas. And Norris is pulling away from Perez, but has a lot of back markers to get round here. A lot of back markers to get round. This is absolutely bloody hellacious. Absolutely hellacious. Right, get out of the flipping way, will you? Get out of the way! Beep, beep! There we go, thank you. Race leader coming through. 3.5. Leclerc's not catching that quickly, I don't think. Well, here comes Danny Rick on the back of Bottas and Tsunoda. Got a massive gap till Russell. How we've ended up 19 seconds behind Russell. It's because we were stuck behind bloody cars. Because you went off, Daniel. Right. Ooh, can you get past? Painful. This guy is like, must be 3 seconds a lap slower than us right now. And we can't get past. Another car has spawned sector 2. Who is it? Not a clue.
Yellow flags ahead.
It's Alonso.
Yeah, confirm.
Let's have a look.
Take a look at the replay.
Take a look at
Now
this.
watch this. Here's Alonso's car.
There's a slow. There's the worst, slowest spin known to man there. What the hell did he do? Did he have a? Did he sneeze? A 2! Oh God! What the hell? Right, come on! You've got to be able to get past these guys. You've got to be able to get past these guys, man. You must be able to clear them. Probably at this, the usual section that he passes cars at. We've got actually Hamilton all up our jacksy here. You've got to start moving, Daniel. You've got to pass these idiots. Another incident. Somebody's going run wide in sector 2. Norris has just got the fastest lap of the race as the track begins to dry. 117.4.
Oh, they've run wide.
That's a Tsunoda running wide here. Daniel is struggling to get past these 2 slow cars ahead of him. It's a frustration. I mean, I know we're not giving him any additional power or anything, but we shouldn't need to. Right now, it looks like he's got the momentum. Oh, what's Bottas doing there? Had to cut me up. Another incident in sector 1. Okay, does this look promising? Outbrake him. You got fresher tyres.
There's currently yellow flags.
Magnussen has spun. Magnussen has spun, but is it going to bring out a safety car? That wouldn't be good for. That wouldn't be that good. In the grand scheme of things, we're 7 seconds ahead of Perez.
I think we've had a car run wide.
Verstappen's wide again. Oh dear. Verstappen has had a race to forget. Lap times currently, Norris 117s, Perez 190, Leclerc 117s too. 117s for Sainz. Another fastest lap for Norris, 116.5, but the track is obviously clearly drying out now. In fact, is it drying out enough for us to put the dry tyres on? No, it's less than a millimetre. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting close. Ricciardo is hampered. See you later, Stephen. But good to see you. The first race was good. This race has been good. Lots of incidents. It's a two race session.
Nicely done, nicely done.
Oh, finally we've got past.
Good job.
Good job, good job. Right, now let's get past the next person. Let's make our way forward, shall we? People are pitting. I can only imagine they're pitting for dry tyres now. If people are pitting for dry tyres, we have to start looking at the lap times because it's crucial. Right, where are we? Bottas. Let's have a look at Bottas and what tyre he's putting on. They must be putting on dry tyres at this point. It can only be dry tyres, but we shall have to check. 1.79. It's too early. It is too early. They're putting on fresh inters. Oh, of course they had inters on, and the inters are getting really worn, but to put on another set of inters right at this moment in time when the track is about to dry out is completely, utterly foolish. But hey. And that's a new fastest lap, 1:16.1. Let's have a look at what Leclerc gets. He'll be matching us. The times are tumbling because of the track drying. It's not because we're doing anything spectacular. Leclerc? Or maybe it is, because Leclerc got a 1:16.8. Although he was passing back markers. He's just passed a load of back markers, such as, it looks like Stroll. Yeah, so that will have slowed him down a bit. But nonetheless, we'll take it. 7/10 quicker than our main race rival. Because Perez clearly isn't a main race rival right now. On very worn tyres. Leclerc should make mincemeat of him, potentially.
That's a good lap. Good lap.
Fastest lap for Daniel. 1:16.0. Now that he's found some clear air. So the track is now beginning to dry. I still don't think it's dry enough to come in for dried tyres just yet.
That's a lock-up.
And there you go. Norris, once again, fastest lap. Lap time's tumbling down. Perez has actually he's really pulled a blinder here. He's hung these inters out for the entire damp, wet, damp again conditions. And he's now going to pretty much go into dries shortly. And he's ended up in P2 because of it. Really good effort. A fantastic effort, in fact.
Okay, we think that's the end of the rain. It's a bit brighter here now. Yep, understood.
Do we bring Daniel in now? Daniel's coming around the corner. Do we risk it with Daniel now? I think even now is a little bit too soon. And we've got Hamilton over the back of us, and we will lose a position if we come in to Hamilton because we'll be slower on our first couple of laps. And there's a massive gap to the car in front. We're never going to catch those, even coming in a lap or two early. So I think we've got to cover Hamilton here. So we're going to have to stay out for another lap, I think. Norris, however, I think is a lot closer.
It's a good lap. That's a good lap.
1:15.6. Oh! Oh, Leclerc is off! Leclerc is off! He was our main rival. Cars have crashed, apparently. What's happened? Is it a safety car? Anyway, forget what's happening. Oh, this is so close. Given that our nearest rival has just crashed. Oh, it must be Perez. It must be Perez. Perez was in second with Leclerc. They must have collided. They both must have collided, which means that puts us even further ahead. So we can actually afford to pit now, and just nicely does it. How many laps to go? How many laps are left in this race? Where are we? Where's that strategy screen? Where's that strategy screen? How do I do it? Strategy view. How did I do this now before? I've already forgotten. Wait a minute, folks. Wait a minute. Hang on. Strategy view. How did I do this last time? Change strategy. Oh, there we go. No, this is how we do it? No strategy? How did we do it? Can't remember. Add new strategy. Add new strategy? Okay. Well, a new stint now. We want to put... let's try the medium tyres first. Okay, so we're here. It's going to have to be hard tyres, right? Yeah, it has to be hard tyres to get us to the end. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I reckon we should probably wait one more lap with Norris. We've got a 15-second buffer, so we don't have to take a risk here. And the hard tyre is going to be a long, long stint. So I think we can afford to.
Sounds like a few cars have crashed.
Let's have a look at this crash.
Here's
This
the replay.
looked like carnage here.
Okay, here's the Ferrari.
So here is the Ferrari. Look at these two, hammer and tongs here. And around the outside was Perez. Oh, he just clipped Perez. Oh, he just clipped Sainz.
Chaos on the track.
And that was chaos. I'm surprised that both cars are still going, to be honest with you. Right. Ricardo is going to come in, however, because he's got a bit more to gain, I suppose, from being early. Whereas Norris can afford just to ensure that he comes in at the precise right moment rather than being a bit too preemptive. But Leclerc has got a penalty because of that incident. Clearly was deemed to have caused it, although technically speaking it looked like Perez drove into him, if you ask me. But who am I? I'm not a steward, but it didn't look like Leclerc's fault to me. But who cares? Our opponents have been falling by the wayside like skittles, crashing into each other, growing into the gravel traps. All the while, whilst Lando Norris has just got his head down and done what he's needed to do. I'm getting a bit nervous. I'm going to actually turn him down from pushing even. Look at this. The rain is coming back again. And we've just taken Daniel into the pits for dry tyres. Track is getting a bit more damp. We could have been a bit early with Daniel here. This is not going the right way. What the hell is it doing?
With this tyre.
It's supposed to be getting dry. Not going worse. We've got 3 minutes of this. Oh, this is a big mistake. It looked like the track were drying. Well, it's a damn good job that we were not so eager with Lando, isn't it? It's a flipping good job. My goodness me. Daniel is on the wrong tyre now. Ah, damn. Oh well. If you weren't in such a crap position because you spun off, we wouldn't have had to take any risk, would we? I still blame you for this. Faux pas. Oh no. 1.8. 2.5. Oh, this is bad. 3.0. This is horrendously bad. And of course, when you're on wet weather conditions, if you're on the soft tyre, it's not quite as bad. But when you're on the harder compound, you'll be getting no heat into these tyres at all. Yeah, Daniel's screwed. Daniel is screwed. Look, he's even struggling to turn the corner. Oh well. Sorry about that, Daniel. So sorry. Left you out to dry there a little bit. Pardon the pun. But he's getting lapped. Daniel is getting lapped by Norris. Such is the calamity of his race. Okay, I think this is the final. I think this is the final drying. But excuse me if I don't come dashing in with Lando just yet. Whoa! Whoa! Oh, go on! Yeah. He's off! No messing about, is he? 14.7 seconds to Sainz. Just got to be careful. There's still a decent amount of laps left in this race, so we can't afford to be too driving like driving like Miss Daisy here.
Understood.
Yeah, we're done. We're done with you, Daniel. I'm afraid. Do apologise. Get used to it, because next season this will be a common theme. Number 2 driver. If he's still here. If I don't have a change of heart and get a new driver. Yeah, I might actually purposely get a new driver. Even if he's not quite as good as Daniel. I don't know, get a Gasly or something. Actually, Gasly is as good. Get a Gasly or an Albon or a Bottas. Someone that's not as good as Lando, but is still going to bring in the points for the constructors.
DRS enabled. DRS enabled.
Okay, the track is deemed to be dry enough for DRS. It's definitely getting dry. I don't know if we've made the pit window at this point, but we're going to see if we have or not. Have we made the pit window? Oh, we have! Nice. Nice, nice, nice.
Yep. Okay.
Hopefully it's not too soon. Track rubber and track grip are very low, which isn't good for hard tyres, but hey, Let's have a look at Daniel's time. Daniel's time is still pretty slow. He's still holding these cars up. We may still be a little bit premature with Norris here. I am a little bit worried about this. Look how much pace these cars on Inters have behind us. I am a little bit worried. Oh, I don't know actually. I don't know. It's beginning to look a little. Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. 6 seconds. Let's keep an eye on this gap. 5.9. We're about on a par with the Inters now, by the looks of it. We're about on a par. In fact, we're a bit quicker, I think, than the Inters now. Right, where's Daniel? How many cars are you going to pass into the pit? So literally, I think the crossover point was round about sort of 0.75 mils there. So we just timed it perfectly with Lando. And now Daniel finally has the pace. Tyres are now up to temperature. And just got to be careful, you know, because those tyres won't last till the end, Daniel.
Okay, keep looking after the tyre.
Yeah, Daniel's tyres aren't going to last until the end. He's got to be conserving them. Look at that.
Good job, good job.
They ain't making it, are they? But that's based on a push strategy rather than a conservative strategy like Lando's is, so he should be fine. But Ricciardo is up to P10. Anybody on Inters around him? So all these cars ahead of him, apart from Perez, have to pit again. So let's see. We're going to get Tsunoda. We'll get Joe. God, what a messy race this has been. A race of chaos again, but keeping track of all the strategies and the whys and the wherefores. Perez is looking really good though. Really looking good for P3 for Perez, I think. Sainz is locked up. Perez is now on the right tyre, is he? Yep. People are putting medium tyres on. We've had more crashes here, more people crashing. Ricciardo, fastest lap of the race on the hard tyres. Bottas has crashed on turn 10. It's just carnage. Chaos. Absolute chaos. Fastest lap for Lando on the hard tyres. 1:13.6. Those times are coming down. Ricciardo up to P8, and everybody now has dry tyres on ahead of him. So this is actually his true race position. P8 and 4.6 behind Leclerc. Russell's now in the pits, so he'll probably get Russell, I would like to think. Will he? No, Russell will be far too. Russell's just coming out now. Oh, Russell's out well ahead of us. Right, okay, that's fine. So I think 8th position will be where Ricciardo is going to finish. Unless they can make the medium tyres last until... Unless they can't make the medium tyres last until the end. But Perez, look at that on the medium tyre. New fastest lap. Sainz is on mediums. We are on hards. But we've got 23 seconds. He would have to make up about 0.8 seconds per lap on us to pass us. And I don't think that's happening. I don't think that's happening at all. So, yeah. Fastest lap Norris again. Sector 2. More incidents. Never have I seen such a chaotic race, my God. Schumacher locking up now. Are all the cars... Actually, it's a miracle that all the cars are still in the race. 23 seconds is the gap. Sainz is the fastest lap now. Let's have a look at their last lap times. Half a second per lap quicker on them tyres. Interesting. Them medium tyres, it must be quite close to get them medium tyres to the end, because the hard tyres barely made it to the end, and we didn't come in that many laps before them. We're not worried. We're not worried at all. Lando is an expert at managing the race from the front. See you later, Cham. We've got 10 minutes left. I am going to two-speed this very shortly because we have got a nice gap and Ricciardo isn't going to be catching Leclerc. So he's in a bit of a happy medium as well. So you know what? To be fair, my Ovaltine is calling me, so I will do it in two-speed for the remaining 30 laps of this race. Well,
Seems to have been a lockup.
27 to be precise, I suppose. We just have to make sure that this gap isn't doing anything that it shouldn't be doing. We will continue to follow Norris simply because I want to make sure that he doesn't spin off. Ricciardo managing the gap to Alonso, not gaining on Leclerc. Hamilton is too far ahead. We're probably quicker than Hamilton right now. If we check the lap times, we can see that we are lapping in the 1:13.2s. Hamilton, no, the 1:12.7s actually. So Ricciardo is looking a little bit sluggish, but he is passing back markers, which is going to slow him down a touch. But nonetheless, his race hasn't been filled with glory, I'm afraid. Okay. 22 seconds is the gap to Sainz. It's staying a nice, steady number there. Very happy to see that as Norris continues to do what he's been doing best lately, and that is leading from the front. Singapore, Mexico, and now Brazil. Austin, Texas, Circuit of the Americas. We didn't quite have the pace there, but you know, 3 out of 4 races where we've been quite, no, 3 out of 5, because I think Japan was in there somewhere as well, wasn't it? Maybe. 3 out of 5 races, I suppose, then. We have been in control of the race from the front. Clearly the wet weather's helped in this circumstance. I don't know where we would have fared in race pace had it been a completely dry race, but it wasn't, was it? You can only play the hand you're dealt. And we played it well, touchwood so far. There's still 20 down 4 laps to go. Many a lap for a disaster to happen. If a disaster is to happen, let it happen to Ricciardo, please. Leave Norris alone. And again, we will not be pushing him. We will not be doing anything untoward. Don't want to curse it. There's nobody on the track that is actually close to another car for us to even watch any action. Alonso is 1.4, Ocon is 1.3, Latifi, not for a brief moment, was within DRS range there.
They've gone wide.
Sonoda's run wide, bit of action here. Oh, he's just slightly gone off into the runoff area there. Nothing too major to be getting excited about. Crofty trying to orchestrate fake drama there. Fake news, fake news. Can't believe tomorrow's already going to be Wednesday. The older you get, the quicker time goes. Trust me. Jesus. It'll be Christmas again soon. God. I could probably 4-speed this at this point, but I don't like doing that. I hate that view. Mick Schumacher is having a bit of a ding-dong with Stroll. Bit of action at the back of the pack. Which has now subsided. Ocon is gaining on Magnussen, it looks like. DRS open. Okay, we might get an accident. I might get an overtake here. Through the centre S's. I think you get a bit of DRS down this straight too. There you go, a bit of DRS down here. And ooh, That corner, of course, the scene of a couple of incidents with Hamilton and Verstappen in 2021, where, well, in my view, Verstappen was a little bit naughty, but that's the way it is. I didn't actually watch that race. I was coming back from football because it's a Sunday, so I play football in an evening clearly, and this race usually starts around about 5 p.m. British time. So I was at football. So I was on the way home in the car, listening to the race in the way home on the car, in the car on the radio. So I was listening to it happening on the radio. So the first time that Hamilton tried to pass him, and he drove them both off the track, because he went off the track as well, didn't Verstappen. And I heard that on the radio, and I was just pulling into my house at the time, so I was like, oh my god, ran upstairs, put the TV on, the Sky on my computer, and then saw the second attempt, which was successful. Much to my delight. Right, well, Ocon and Magnussen are having a battle, but Ocon is not passing, even with DRS, so there you go. But Sainz hasn't actually got to within 20 seconds of Norris yet, which is rather interesting. Let's have a look at the lap times, as the mediums are degrading a little bit more quickly than the hards, and the lap times, actually, Norris was a tenth quicker on that last lap. Let's have a look at this one. Okay, now Sainz was a tenth quicker than Norris that time, so trading blows now, really. But the mediums seem to have probably normalised pace-wise with the hards at this point. Actually, when I checked at the start of this race, the time difference between the hard and the medium, the hards were only a tenth quicker, weren't they? The hards were only a tenth slower. Sorry. I'm almost certain they were, because I remember talking about having doing 2 hard tyre stints or something ridiculous. I think the hard tyres were quite close in performance to the mediums, to be fair. So at 55.16 to go, Verstappen has managed to claw his way back up to 3rd position after 3 incidents. So I mean, he's done pretty well there. And he's only 7 seconds behind Sainz. Is he gaining on Sainz? He's only pitted once, and that's where it's helped him. Hanging it out on those worn inters, even through the wet period, has helped him gain time. So quite a few different strategies in this race. Playing out. The Mercedes seem to have nailed the strategy today, because 4th and 5th is them higher than they perhaps usually would be, because they've got a Red Bull and a Ferrari and a McLaren behind them. Or is it just a case of these guys knocking each other off? Ricciardo beaching it has gifted them these positions rather than them earning them, if you will. Okay, so Ocon has now passed Magnussen. Looks like we are coming up to lap this little battle, possibly. Yes, our progress this season has been pretty decent, hasn't it? I mean, it's unreal. I think it is unrealistic for a team to develop
Sounds like someone's locked
quite so much during the season. Don't get me wrong, you do see performance enhancements in season from teams, but not to the extent that we've done it. Clearly, in real life, we've seen performance difference gains between seasons, aka Aston Martin suddenly going from 7th fastest car or 7th in the constructors back end of the grid last season to suddenly being the 2nd fastest car this season. Very rare it happens, but it's possible. But we've done this clearly during the season. But that was one of the things about the game that was mentioned, that it's possible to develop quite quickly. Which is fine for a 2-season save, clearly. All we need to make sure that we do now is carry the momentum into the next season, because apparently if you don't do your pre-season properly, you could lose performance, which would be catastrophic. So what some people don't do, or don't know that they can do, is once you've finished the pre-season stuff, you need to keep developing parts for the car. So you do the research and stuff, and then everything kicks in, but then during the off-season and before the first race of the season, you need to start developing new parts for your car straight away, rather than waiting for the first race, which some people do. You can just start crafting those developments straight away. So as soon as we are able to do so, we shall start the development cycle again, exactly as we did last season, which would be underfloor, front wing, rear wing, focusing on downforce, and using what's the thingy? The development, not rushed, not normal, the other one. Can't remember what it's called, but the one where you get the bonus expertise gain. We're developing our wings and floor using Intense. That's the one. Thank you, Louis. Intense. We'll be using Intense. So exactly the same design cycle as we use this season. And clearly we don't have to worry about research next season, because we're not doing a third season. So when it comes to the regulation changes, we don't have to waste time researching for the season's after's car. Which is
there's a spin!
a little bit of a cheeky thing. Because in real life you wouldn't be like, I'm leaving next season, so screw you, I'm not helping your car at all. I'm not helping you for next season's design, no, I'm just focusing on this season. To hell with next season's car. I'm going to put all my eggs into one basket. I might not. It depends how our performance is. If our performance is decent, then I might still do some research, just in case A, I want to play on off camera, or B, upload a game save for you guys to play on with. If you want to take over as Potter's team. I haven't researched it yet, but I am. Why is Hamilton putting now? I haven't researched it yet, but I am looking to. I'm hoping to mod in the liveries for 2023 for our next season, which hopefully will be doable. I have seen somebody playing this that has modded liveries of cars, so I know it's possible. It's just how easy it is, because I'm not the best when it comes to mods, as you well know. I don't mod things very often. I just find it a real pain to do. A lot of cars are pitting. Why? Why are cars pitting? They're putting soft tyres on, as if... Oh, look at the tyre wear. I did say that getting the mediums to the end was going to be tricky. Clearly proved to be the case for some people. Daniel's leapfrogged them. How fast Perez behind Daniel? 5 seconds. I mean, he's on faster tyres now, clearly. Soft tyres, 5 laps, 5 seconds. He'll probably make that up, to be honest. He's probably going to unlap himself. Maybe we should hold him up. Maybe we should hold him up with Norris so that he can't pass Daniel. Look how quick he is on them soft tyres. Fresh soft tyres. He's unlapping himself. Do not hit me. Do not you dare hit me, pal. Wipe me out.
Was that a lock-up on the track?
Go on, Daniel. Run. Run, Daniel. I'm holding him up for you. He's holding him up. Look. You can't lap yourself, you stupid fool. What are you doing? Let me just go into light mode and conserve mode here, just to slow him up a bit more. Team strategy here. Just slow him up. Slow him down. Slow him down, Lando. Oh, damn it. Damn it, we tried. Right, you're on your own, Daniel. 2.7 seconds, 3 laps. He's on blindingly quick soft tyres. Sainz is up to pit. Look at Verstappen. How is Verstappen going to finish in second after going off the track 3 times? How is this possible? This is lunacy. He's going to have to come in for fresh tyres. His tyres are off a cliff now. He's going to hang it. He's going to... The car be shaking. Tyres are square.
Someone's run wide.
I'll get it. I'm not pitting. I'm in second, you fools. Come in. Your tyres are going to explode. No, there's only 2 laps to go. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. How much is the gap? How much is the gap? 9 seconds. 9. Look at that. Oh, look at this. Perez is coming. Perez is coming fast on Daniel. We've got to do something here. Give him the full juice. Give him the full juice. Daniel, we're giving you full juice. Should have done it sooner probably, but hey. Go, go, go. You've got to just hold out for 1 more lap, Daniel. You can do it, sir. Hey, you know what? He might be able to do it. He might be able to do it. Come on, Danielson. Come on, Daniel. You can do it. Have we been lapped? No, we haven't. The heel knocked himself. Oh, because the race would have finished now. Norris is on the last lap, right? No, not. ERS drained. It's fine. We'll keep it on 1 speed for the finale. Daniel is trying to hold off Perez. Perez on freshish, soft tyres. Daniel is trying every trick in the book now. He's going to have to be getting those elbows out and making his car very wide if he wants to beat Perez here. As Lando Norris crosses the line, 32 seconds ahead of Max Verstappen, who has been off the track many a time, taking scenic drives, wanting to cut the grass. And his tyres are shot to bits. But he's still clinging on. Clinging on to second place here. Somehow, some way. And we've got Ricciardo, who's still holding off Perez. Coming up to the last few corners surely now. Oh no, we've got another lap after this. We're not being lapped. This is Lando's last lap, not yours. You've still got to go a bit longer. It's for 6th and 7th, it's not exactly high drama, but hey, every position counts at this point. We will not give a position up willingly. Verstappen, 22% tyres. Can your tyres give up? Can your tyres burst and puncture?
There are yellow flags on the main straight.
Bottas has spun.
Roger.
Here we go again. Daniel having to defend. He's got to turn everything down now. The tyres. This is the final lap now. These are the last 2 cars that weren't lapped. They will be the last 2 cars to cross the line. Will Daniel finish ahead of Perez? It is tight. Perez has got the DRS open now. Coming down to this corner for the final time. It's not here where we're at danger. It is this complex here. This is the complex where most of the overtakes have been done in this race. Fuel has gone red. You have to conserve the fuel all of a sudden. How has this happened? Is he going to make it? Yep, back to green, back to balanced. Norris wins. Verstappen has managed to cling on to second place with tyres that are looking like they've come through the shredder. Sainz is finished in 3rd. The 4th, 5th, and who is going to get 6th? If Daniel can hold off Perez for 1 more corner and for 1 more straight, this would be quite the achievement indeed. Look how close it is. Perez is pulling out, but he surely is. Oh, DRS is open. Surely it's too late. Oh, well done, Daniel.
That's the checkered flag.
Well done. That was a sterling defence.
Yes, Daniel. Well done. P6. P6.
Give him a clap. I'll give him a clap for that one. You started off crap. You've spun off, but you've redeemed yourself. But look at this man. It's 2 races on the spin for Lando Norris. As I said in the last race, are we looking at the future world champion here. We could be.
Imagine how chuffed
We
they must
could be.
A podium is a real feat, and it's been accomplished in style.
So Lando Norris picks up another race victory. 2 race victories in one stream. We're blessed. We are blessed. Not the fastest lap, but hey, who cares? 25 points is all that matters. Let's take a look at the Drivers' Championship. So Leclerc is 30 points clear, which means he is officially crowned the World Champion of 2022. Well done to Charles Leclerc. The Ferrari's clearly the team to beat for next season. Who's going to step up to the plate? We'll see, won't we? Won't be Max Verstappen on that performance, will it? Certainly not. We have gained on Verstappen again. We are only 28 points behind him, so we can't get third now. But we've definitely charged at the back end of the season. This has been fantastic. Daniel gaining some points there. Probably won't pass Perez. But coming in P6, picking up some great points for the team. Constructors-wise, we know that we're going to get third. We know the order is pretty much set now for the constructors. Another development point for Daniel. Another one for Lando. That's 3 in 2 races, or 3 in 3 races, I think. So that's cool. We'll give them their points now before we sign off. Let's just quickly get that done. Right, so Daniel will get a point in position number 3. That's just manufacturing, not design. So drivers, Daniel, reactions, and Lando will get a point put into 7, which is adaptability, which is wet weather driving, rather appropriately, considering what just happened there. Getting a bit more skill in the wet. Why not? Based on that performance, I'd wholeheartedly agree. Perfect. Right, okay, so that's that. So the final thing is, let's just take a very quick look at who we might want to potentially replace Daniel Ricciardo with. So if we look at Daniel Ricciardo, these are the people that are better than Ricciardo. I think Bottas is a very much underrated driver. Patience for not interested. I didn't mean to do that. No, what am I doing? All these people are saying negotiated attitude. No, that's because this is something else, isn't it? I don't think that's appropriate. Bottas, not interested. Sainz, not interested. So Leclerc is now no longer interested. I wonder if it's because we're coming up to the end of the season. Therefore, nobody is interested in negotiating right now. Maybe. Because Leclerc was interested previously, but now he's down as not. So I'm thinking it could be to do with the being close to the end of the season, maybe. Maybe they've signed new deals. It's because you're at the end of the season. Right, okay. So we'll have to reassess this. But I'm thinking, looking at this list, realistically, Charles Leclerc, as I said, I don't want him because I want Lando to be the lead driver. I want him to be world champion. Just saying. So I think our options are Ocon. Ocon's a good driver. Quite close to Lando. Would give him a good run for his money. Might beat him. Alonso, nah, too old. He's kicking ass at the moment, isn't he? Gasly would be a good bet because he's not quite as good as Lando. He's in the same ballpark as Ricciardo, but a bit younger. So Gasly would be a good support driver. I think Ocon or Gasly would be good bets, and then we've got Bottas as third choice. I think one of those three could be a good call. Alonso, Ocon, or Gasly. Not Alonso. Bottas, Ocon, or Gasly. Would be good bets. I mean, even Perez, to be fair. Let's get him out of that toxic team. We'll see. I'm not sure how driver negotiations work in the off season, but I'm quite tempted. 4 days until Abu Dhabi, which is really interesting because our car park development. Oh, for our chassis is 5 days. So we won't be able to get it for the race, but it will be ready after the race weekend and before the end of the season. Interesting. But our side pods will be ready, so we can get that sorted. Our rear wing research will also be ready. Chassis will be ready. So end of the season is fast approaching. Last race of the season will be the next stream, which will be a private stream. And then we will do the full pre-season and the first race of next season to see how good our car is in the next stream, which will be next Tuesday. So that will be good. We need to refurbish our wind tunnel, which is costing 3 million. Jesus, it's extortionate. Suspension has been manufactured, and once again, look at that, second race on the bounce for Mr. Norris. So there you go, folks. Whew, what a barnstormer. Time for Ovaltine time again. So thank you for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that double race stream there. 2 race victories for Lando, and yeah, looking forward. I'm really looking forward to seeing how our car turns out for next season. Now we turn our attentions after the next race to perfecting our car for that new season. Give those Ferrari boys a run for their money. Anyway, that's it now. 3 days of streams done and dusted. CK2 either tomorrow or Thursday, recorded session to pick up from where we left off and just prepare for our rain, and then a bit of a break, I think. Saturday I will probably bring you the last race of the season for this, and then we'll be streaming again next Sunday with Sabranti, and then next Tuesday for CK2, because I just remembered that next Monday I'm going out somewhere. So when the next stream of this game will be, I don't know, but Sabranti and CK2 do take precedence. So anyway, enjoy the rest of your week. Thank you for watching, and yes, hopefully see you again soon for some more F1 goodness. Enjoy the rest of your evenings, folks. See you next time. Whew. I'm that knackered after that I can't. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying to find my shortcuts. So I'm like, oh, my head's all a mess. I saw John Sabranti. Oh, it's well worth it, isn't it? It's a great game. It's a great game, and so many divergent paths. I'm sure that people can take in that. So, yeah, glad I sold it to you, and hope you enjoy it, sir. Anyway, let me remember what I'm doing now. I'll see you next time.